Wait, what's this? Please stand by. What is up, everyone?
Hello.
How are you guys doing on this Friday evening? 3 weeks.
Did you then go like
My
this?
finger? Yeah, my finger did not get from the locked position. But yeah, 3 weeks until opening night of Halloween Horror Nights.
It's crazy.
Should I go my 5-minute rant about time? You ever flown a river?
No.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 weeks away from opening night here in Studio Fright Club. We got a live stream this Friday evening. Excited for this one. This one's kind of fun, laid back. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. But before we do, where are you guys tuning in from? Let us know in the chat. Type it down. And then as you guys are doing that, I'm going to think of question of the day. Are we cool with the one I just briefly mentioned?
Sure.
We are so off schedule today, guys. So much has happened, but we're here. We made it. A few minutes late because of audio issues, as always. I don't know why on the times that we are like in the studio early, ready to go, everything works. And we just sit and wait for like 20 minutes. But when we sit down like 5 minutes before we're live, we're trying to get everything set up real quick, nothing works. Everything is the same. Nothing has changed since we last were here this past Tuesday.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. But
The last several have been like fine.
yeah, we
And
having
then-
issues. All of a sudden today, we're running a little behind, and it's like, you know what? Technology. Anyways, where's everyone tuning in from? We got Ocala, so pretty much down the road. Dirty Jersey, Ashland, Missouri, Rhode Island, Jersey Shore. So a couple jerseys out there. Northwest Ohio, Mississippi, Local Landos. I like Local Landos. Should make that a shirt. Gville, Northwest Florida, soon to be Northeast Florida. Ooh, little change of scenery. Chicago, Lake Buena Vista, Long Island, Arkansas. Thank you guys all for tuning in to Studio Fright Club. Us here, dirty, what is it? Local Landos. I almost said Dirty Landos.
Dirty. I was like, where's that come from?
Local Landos. We also got more Chicago and Kissimmee. First of all, how are you guys doing? How's everyone doing? How are we feeling? How are we feeling right now? The fact that we are 3 weeks away from HHN opening night.
It's crazy.
How are you feeling knowing that we're 3 weeks away?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a mix of emotion, but
I like-
excitement, yeah.
For a moment, we didn't know if we would be going at all this year. And
For a long while, we did
Yeah.
not know.
and I think it'll be fine. So we're gonna go.
Figure it
And
out.
I'm very excited because I'm just thinking of like walking in through like the entrance on opening night, and it's just like such a good feeling.
No matter what the event brings, whatever house, scare zone, show, no matter what, those are not my number one thing that I look forward to. It's like what Steph mentioned. Just simply being able to walk through the arches, seeing a medallion, hearing the music, and getting to roam the street of Universal.
The street.
The
or
street.
streets.
You tell me, supposedly Universal thinks it's street. So the streets of Universal, knowing that it's HHN, it's cool. It's cool to think that that's around the corner. This is like my favorite time period is when we are just right around the corner of HHN starting, but it's not officially here yet.
Really?
Because it's like Christmas Eve. It's the excitement knowing Christmas is tomorrow. and enjoying that you're still in the moment. Because once Christmas is here and it's gone, it's gone. The same thing with HHN. Once it gets here, it's awesome. But then next thing you know, I realize we're in the last week. I'm like, how did all of that pass?
Mr. Sentimental.
Anyways.
Don't let time pass.
I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Also, I see another Utica, Michigan. Where did I hear that from recently?
On Tuesday on our last stream.
No. But there was a show.
No, that was it.
No, there was a show that I saw like on TikTok. Something popped up, and they were saying Utica, Michigan. Maybe I had a dream.
No, we talked about it on Tuesday.
I know we talked about it. I don't know. All right. Anyways, we got to bring this up. Evil Matthew with the 10 said, "Hi everyone. I love Halloween Horror Nights and cold fronts. I don't like heat at all." Evil Matthew, we just became best friends.
Felt.
We agree wholeheartedly. Love Halloween Horror Nights. Love cold fronts. I don't like the heat. Like, I don't know. There's times that I do like it, but I would prefer cold weather any day. Halloween during the cold or Halloween during the heat, Steph?
Cold, but like Florida cold.
Well,
not like below freezing.
I'm saying like 50 to 60 degrees cold. 60, like 65.
60 to low 80s.
Well, low 80s is like summer for the people up north.
I know, but okay, 60 to 70.
Like on Halloween night, what's the temperature for you?
75.
75? Well, here, I mean, it's like 85. But everybody in the chat, what is the perfect weather, like degree, for a Halloween night? I say 65. 65 degrees, Halloween night. Little breezy, chilly night. What are you guys thinking?
50, 73, 60. I guess I get cold easily, so...
You do. Steph really does, yeah.
I'm thinking 75, like at night. It's even colder here.
But see, you're thinking Florida. I'm just thinking in general, overall, from all the United States. What is just the perfect degree?
Well, it feels different everywhere.
I know. I mean, for us, it's like when it's 80 degrees out, we're like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like, it feels a little chilly. People up north would...
That's why I said 75, because I was like, oh, it feels good, but I could still wear, like, a T-shirt.
I guess. I'm saying 65.
Okay, maybe like 68.
I'm seeing 60s to the 70s, but mainly between 60 to 70. That's what I'm seeing.
55 is perfect. It's a little cold for me.
I like
I'm not
55.
gonna lie.
I like 55. I love the cold. I personally love the cold. So, but anyways, Evil Matthew 50 with the 10. Thank you so much, and welcome to the live. I hope you guys are ready for this one. So, I'm going to get into question of the day, and after question of the day, it's a very simple question of the day, nothing too big. We'll talk a little bit about some updates going on within Universal. Ooh. Recently, we got merchandise. We also got some updates for the scare zones. Yes. Some changes. Exciting. And then we'll get into the main topic today, which, as you guys know, from the stream's title, we're going to be talking about Halloween Horror Nights Hot Takes, Hot or Not. We're going to be playing that game. So basically, we had, since this last Tuesday's live stream, we went ahead and have everybody who's online who wanted to submit their Halloween Horror Nights hot take. And we took a couple of those. So any of you guys who got selected, thank you. For any of those who did not get selected, thank you still. Hopefully down the road in the future, we'll do another one of these and we'll be able to get to those that we did not get to in tonight's live stream. But thank you to all of you guys who participated. So we'll go through some of those. All the ones that we put into tonight's live, we'll go over, we'll talk about it, and then we will decide whether it is a hot take or not. And you guys will also decide that in the chat, and we're also just going to kind of go back and forth and maybe debate a little bit about it. We'll see. I feel like you and I are pretty much on the same page for 95% of things. Yes. But I wonder about everybody in the chat. Maybe not. So we'll see what you guys think when we get there. That's pretty much today's live. That's what we got. Just relax. Friday evening, kick back, relax. 3 weeks away from HHN. Question of the day. I made this up on the spot when the stream was loading in. Will Halloween Horror Nights 35 overall be better than Halloween Horror Nights? Oh my goodness. Halloween Horror Nights 30. So will this anniversary year 35 be better overall than our last anniversary year of HHN 30? Now 30 was a very unique year because it technically had all the plexiglass and all these things changed. It technically got canceled in 2020 and brought back in 2021. But overall, do we think that 35 will be better than 30? What we thinking?
I think so, only because of the plexiglass. But that year was such a good year for both houses and scare zones. I feel like a lot of times it's one or the other. Like, for some reason, like, most of the houses will be good, and then, like, most of the scare zones are kind of a flop. Or vice versa, where, like, all the scare zones are really good, and then the houses are, like, meh.
Yeah.
But I feel like that year, it was like both were pretty good.
30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked Lights, Camera, Haction. That was 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Seek and Destroy.
Yeah, Seek and Destroy got better with time.
I agree. Once they started actually adding victims and all that stuff, I thought it got much better.
But then, like, that was also the first year of Nightmare Fuel. And
that was is that your favorite one? I think that's our favorite Nightmare Fuel show.
Of the Nightmare Fuels, yeah.
Yeah, the first year.
And then, like, we had Wicked Growth.
We had Hill House. We had Icons. Beetlejuice
Icons
was there.
Was really good, too.
I liked Beetlejuice, but there was issues with cast stuff. But it's still cool. The Bride of Frankenstein Lives House was pretty good. We had Case Files. We also had Welcome to Scary Horror in the Heartland. We had the Shrek building, and we had the Men in Black 10. You know, the layout was so different. You know, the layout now is so different than past years. It's crazy to think, but what I'm looking at, it seems like a vast majority of everybody chatting right now is saying yes.
That it will be better. That's good.
Yeah.
Optimism.
See, Lucius Charms says no, and you know what? I'm like with Lucius in a way, because here's the thing. Seeing everybody like optimistic about this year being better than 30 makes me excited. I'm like, okay, cool. If a lot of people are writing that, cool, I'll write that with you guys. But like, there has been so many changes with Halloween Horror Nights 35 coming up that we don't know of yet. A lot of questions, you know, the change in express passes, the change in stay and scream, the 2 p.m. early houses. There's so many different logistical changes that I'm like, I really wonder what this will look like this year. I don't know. You know, I will also say Fort Nightmares as a scare zone is a little controversial to a lot of people this year. I feel like the way that this spec season has gone, the off season, has been a little divided amongst the fan base in a way. And because of that, it's like there's a little bit of fog leading into 35 that makes me kind of worried a little bit. Mm-hmm. But then I look back at 30 and these were the same things, very different reasons, but same feelings that had me worried about 30, which was the plexiglass and would that work out? And, you know, Halloween Horror Nights coming back from, you know, COVID and everything we locked down. How's this going to look? So I feel like there are similarities there, but for different reasons and purposes. I want to be excited, but I'm very skeptical.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I do agree too with Lucius. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but Charms said that 30 was a good like crowd level. Like there was a good amount of crowd. It wasn't like too overwhelming.
We still had like Wednesdays, we would argue, would be like the slower day, and Sundays, and then Friday, Saturdays were like the busier days. I feel like that was still the case then, right?
Yeah. And I feel like because it was right after COVID, not as many people were like traveling as much. But also Brian and I were talking about this today because I saw a TikTok somebody posted saying how they miss HHN 32, and like almost 90% of the comments were all saying like, oh, that was my first year, I miss it so much. I think there was a big influx of people for like 31 and 32, and I think 30 and then before that didn't have that like social media TikTok like influence as much. So I think 30 definitely felt like one of the last years that didn't have such as like overwhelming crowds. But I mean, I don't know if that, you know, will affect how good the year is in general.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I will say, leading up to HHN 30, I distinctly remember how excited I was for that event versus today. Now, I'm not excited for. I'm like pumped for this year's HHN. Like Steph said earlier in the live stream, there was a long period of time where Steph and I were planning to not go to this year's event. The reason being is because of the baby. So, the fact that we're sitting here and we're making plans and we got our tickets and everything we have planned out in a way that we are going to attend this year's event, I am excited. I want to see HHN. I just want to walk around and be like, hey, it's Halloween. Like, that's all that matters, right? So I am thrilled. But if I look back at how I was this time during HHN 30, I don't think I'm as thrilled as I was during HHN 30. And, I look at, like, the way the announcements were done and all that stuff. Like, again, just Halloween Horror Nights 30 had announcements like Haunting of Hill House that it just cannot be touched, in my opinion. But then again, during HHN 30, we also did get that one day where they just released all the originals in one day, and it was just a photo of the marquee sign. Do you remember that? It's just like originals drop one day, boom, they're like here.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like that. So I don't know. I'm interested. I'll see. I mean, we're all gonna see. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping 35 is great. We're all hoping that. All right. Yeah, Fred said you should consider getting an ECV for Stephanie. Thought about it. I thought about it for myself too.
We'll see how I feel.
Yeah, Steph doesn't like that stuff.
No,
Trying to help Steph is very difficult.
It's not that. We'll just see. Like, if I feel like I need something, then we'll get something. But
yeah. Also, Joey said HHN 30 was my first year. Anybody else in the chat? Was HHN 30 your first year? Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat? Is HHN 35 going to be your first year? Is this year going to be your first year of HHN? Yeah, Dre said, I'll be hype or not once I see what they do with the arches. Yeah, I agree.
Jen K said their first one was 1992.
John K? Jen K? There's a John K and a Jen K.
Yeah, Jen K.
So Jen K says 1992. Wow.
That's awesome.
Fancy. I'm jealous.
Very jealous.
I wasn't even alive.
Me neither.
That's awesome. 92. John said 30 was his first. Carlos said 30 was first. Sweet. Nice says 2012. All right, everybody in the chat, just put in what was your first year? That should have been the question of the day. What was your first year of attending Halloween Horror Nights? What was your first year, Steph?
2018.
And you worked it.
Yep.
Your first year.
But I did go as a guest that year, so.
You did. But your first time being there while it was going, you were working it. You weren't like as a guest.
I actually got to go a lot as a guest that year because
of your schedule.
Because of holiday parade, they will only schedule you 40 hours. So I had a lot of days where I had holiday parade rehearsals in the morning, and then they were like, you can't work HHN tonight because then we have to pay you overtime.
Crazy.
So also, I was like, fine, I'll just go as a guest.
Fine with me. Back in the day when we could easily go as guests when you were a team member.
Yeah.
Now there's all these rules, supposedly.
You can only go 2 times.
By the way, we're repping some of our Fright Club gear. I can't really try to stretch. I got Brother, BFO, and then Steph is wearing, it's one of the Stillwalkers that was in that street too. There.
It's this photo that's right here.
Yeah. Right behind Steph. You can barely see it too, but we're both rocking some of the Fright Club gear on the Fright Club shop. You guys go to www.frightclubshop.com. You can check out some of our gear. All right, let's check what these years are. Let's see. So 2009, Mikey said. Justin said HHN X. That's awesome. Commanders said HHN 32. Mr. Disney King. Let's see. I'm just going to name off the years. HHN 28. 2002. HHN 20. 2009. 2012. HHN 30. 2013. 2018. 2009. 2000. 2023. 2023. 2008. 2023. HHN 19. 2019, 2009, 34. Chris with HHN 34. Welcome. 2022, Oddfellows year. The Yarbros. What's up? Guys, that's crazy. It's cool because what I love seeing is we have people that have been going since the beginning and then people who are pretty recent. It's a good range. And that's what speaks about Halloween Horror Nights. It's loved by a lot of people from different backgrounds and stuff from all over the years. It's great. Love it. We got more. 2001, 2013. That's awesome. Yeah, mine was 2014. 2014, which is crazy to think that was 12 years.
15, 16, right?
I know. I wish I went to 16 or 15. Yeah, I didn't get to do 15 or 16. 2015, 2016, which was 24 or 25 and 26. The number sometimes confuses me. So, anyways, yeah, Psycho Massacre. Yep, 2009, first year. Sweet. We had a lot of 2009s in there in the chat.
Yeah, a lot of 2000s, like the
Early 2000s.
early 2000s.
Yeah, sweet. Good to have you guys. Glad you guys are still in.
Hey.
I realized something just now.
What?
So Stephanie earlier, by the way, we're gonna get into all this stuff for the live stream. But Stephanie earlier made pizza skulls,
You were gonna
and
say
I just realized.
heartburn.
No, I just realized I ate the last piece. I was supposed to save it for the live to show
no,
everybody.
it's fine. I'm gonna post a video on Instagram so you can see it there.
It's buffalo chicken pizza skulls. They rocked.
Brian brought that up the other night on the stream. We were talking about food,
Yep.
and he said it'd be good if they did
Buffalo
chicken for the pizza skulls. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it.
And I will tell you what, my statement still stands true. It was awesome. Yeah, Stephanie made buffalo chicken pizza skulls. I wish I saved one just to show you guys. It was awesome. Loved it. So,
JC Baby said, I've gone since 2010 and I've only missed 1 year because I was heavily pregnant, was due mid-October.
oof.
Yeah, I don't blame you for missing that year.
Yeah.
You'll
be 6 months.
No, I'm 6 months now.
Well, at the start of the event, you'll be 6 months.
I'll be 7 months.
No. You're 5 months right now. You'll be 6 months at the start of the event. 7 months in October, 8 months in November, due December.
Technically, when you hit 40 weeks, you're at 10 months.
That's true. I don't know. Baby's due in December.
I'll be
So-
24 weeks when HHN starts.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Yeah, that'll be
Or-
6 months.
25 weeks.
No, I think 24 weeks.
No, because I'm 22 now.
Wait, 22? I thought you were 21.
I'll be 23. Nope, 23 on Wednesday.
It's late. There's numbers being thrown everywhere. Anyways, she'll be pregnant. She's still pregnant.
Yes.
That's how it's going to be.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's get into tonight's live. We need to talk just briefly about some of the updates that Halloween Horror Nights has had since our last live stream on Tuesday. Which, by the way, just letting you guys know, we will be back in the studio next week, Tuesday, and next week, Friday, for live streams. I'll give you guys more details about that later in tonight's live. But Halloween Horror Nights has had a huge merch drop.
Yes.
Thoughts on all the merch we've got?
Some of it I like. Some of it I'll pass on. But that's how it always is. Like every year. It's like, oh, that's not for me. But like the little Boo shirt, not for me. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. But I do really like the Hellraiser like muscle tank. I like the design on that. I really like is there some sort of jersey? Was it Killer Clowns jersey maybe? I like that.
The Killer Clown stuff is nice.
Yeah.
I always like Killer Clowns.
I actually don't hate the design for the Fortnite stuff. I like the text, like how it says Fortnite mirrors and it's like the pink. I like that text style. I don't hate the Fortnite merch.
Okay. It's probably because Universal didn't make it.
Maybe. And then I really like all the Hamikuma stuff.
I was going to say my favorite piece of the entire thing that we saw was Hamikuma. And like, we don't have Hamikuma here. But what was announced was we will be getting a meet and greet for Hamikuma. Am I saying that correctly?
I think so. That's how I've heard it.
No, Hamikuma. I'm talking about the meet and greet, right? Chat, is it a meet and greet with Hamikuma? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so, because they had one at Horror Unleashed, and I think they're doing the same thing here.
Is it a meet and greet? Yes. I need to see like 10 yeses in the chat just to make sure.
Yeah.
Yes, meet and greet. Yes. Okay. Listen, is this the first official meet and greet that we're having at Halloween Horror Nights? Like they're like marketing,
like a set up meet and greet, because technically, like for character dining, you could like there were some where they were like it was like a meet and greet.
Yeah, but that was like you had to have a hard ticket for that and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this like will they have a special area inside where you can go and stand in a queue line to meet and greet Hamikuma? Is this like the first time we're having a meet and greet at Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando?
Like that?
Or am I tripping?
Maybe.
Look, I
don't
haven't
know.
been going to every HHN, but I just need to know.
Oh yeah, David S. Pumpkins was probably the closest thing.
Yeah, but would you
He
say
was more of a walk-around character.
Exactly, yeah, because he roamed around the bar and stuff. You get the
I
chance
guess
to see
as
him.
far as them advertising it as a meet and greet, probably yes. But there have been other instances where you had a chance to what?
Technically, Psycho Massacre Film said they had Midnight Syndicate signing and meet before. So technically, that's true. You could meet and greet some of the creatives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yes, technically, you're not wrong.
As a costume character, an animated costume character meet and greet. Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
maybe yeah.
Probably the first time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for. I do not like character meet and greets. I'm not a character meet and greet person. I think it's dumb.
No, it's
No, I do. I do think it's dumb. However,
you will not think it's done when we have our baby.
well, this is what I'm gonna say. We have the baby on the way, so I know my thoughts on that is probably gonna change heavily, and I'm already having that change because when they announced that Hamikuma is gonna be coming to HHN
You're like-
for meet and greet, the first thought I was thinking was, oh, we are getting a photo. Steph has a Hamikuma hat. We're going to rock it, all of that. And when they released the merch and they had the Hamikuma stuff, I immediately saw that little fanny pack with his body sticking out, just coming out of the thing. I love that. For some reason, I really love that.
He's
So,
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? Change
I
of
like
heart.
him.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for the Hamikuma stuff. I think that's cool. I like seeing that we're getting some of our friends across the sea involved. I know we had Jack go out to was it Japan's HHN, I think, recently. So like we've had some stuff go out there, but now we're finally getting some stuff from out there coming here. I know we had Hamikuma like merch last year,
Yeah.
but the fact that the character is going to be here to me, I think is huge.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
That's cool.
I'm excited for that. I like that.
Maybe next year we'll get their 18 plus house.
Silver Screen says that there was a BFO meet and greet under Vecna that one year.
Yeah.
Hashtag under Vecna. You guys remember that?
That was fun.
So yeah,
And
so
then
we
it
had
rained. Really
it
bad.
did not rain. It poured torrential downpours. Bad. But yeah, so we had merchandise that was dropped recently, and I believe you can get it online as well as in the park. Which I honestly I find it surprising that they just release all this merchandise. Just in general, I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't wait till the opening of the tribute store to have that merch. I don't know why this was like.
I can't remember how they've done it in years past.
Have they had it where they've ever just dropped this much merchandise out of nowhere? I think they've announced merch and they showed pictures and stuff before, but I've never known, at least off the top of my head.
I can't remember.
Chico Soul, I love that.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
Vanessa, not this early. Yeah, it feels a little weird to me that they dropped merch this early.
I wonder. No, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say maybe because they've been having some of those like issues with
Running as a company?
like it sounded like they were having issues with their supplier or something like that. So I wonder if they are like wanting to get it out early just in case they sell out. So then on actual like opening night and stuff, it's not as.
But why not just wait till opening night? And
That's
then
what I mean,
sell it?
because then it's not as like
I know,
hectic
but
because
if-
some of these people have already gotten what they want.
It's still weird to me though. Like, why would they risk?
It's just more time to
op-
make money.
I don't know. A lot of people are saying this is a very early drop. It's weird to me. Psycho Massacre Film said, since we're doing hot takes and talking merch right now, here's my first one. HHN 33's merch was pretty blah.
What year was that? Or what did that merch look like?
That was the
Yeah, I did not like any of that.
yeah. 33 to me was just everywhere. So, anyways, all right. Merchandise was dropped. Another thing that we found out too recently is Scare Zone updates. Last Tuesday we talked about Scare Zone updates. However, in the Infernal Carnival Nightmares, whatever the entrance Scare Zone. We officially have like the marquee signs for the IPs.
Those look cool.
They went up. Those are really cool. I love when they do that stuff every year. They've been doing it for years and years, and it looks really good. It's great because we have, I guess it's called Minion Way now, or whatever the technical name is. But in years past, before that whole area was an issue, they would always do that. And that was really cool. It was one of my favorite things to see was those signs. Last year, a lot of people loved it. Last year, we were able to get that street back, which was a huge win. And again, we got it this year, and they're able to do that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then in the streets of New York, downtown Clowntown has had a lot of additions added to it recently, too. There is a Clownmobile. There is a little Volkswagen Beetle that we've seen so many times at Universal. They have that towards the back by the bathrooms near the arcade and Louis. I saw photos of that, and I was like, sweet.
Cool.
So we did get some of that, which was really neat.
That'd be cool.
Yes. Yeah, Dre, what's 33 where horror lives? Yeah.
I actually agree with Justin. He said I like the new signs more than the statues from last year. I like the signs this year. I thought the statues last year were cool, but I like these a little bit better, I think.
I think the statues went well with the
vibe,
the theme, the story behind them. I thought that was cool. But I do agree with you guys. I do think that what we have right now compared to what we had last year as far as those signs go, I do like this more.
Me too.
I think they pop more. They catch your eye more.
Yeah.
Although a statue of Ozzy sitting down in this thing could have been really
that would have been really cool.
Could have been really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing every IP with something like that, but no, I like what we have.
No, I think they look really good.
Enjoy it, yeah. Psycho said signs this year very throwback to 2018. Yeah, it feels like 2018 in a way. Those signs, even like 2017 was more of like a poster in a way. I love 2017s. All right, so with that being said, those are just a little bit of the updates that I know that we got this week. If I'm missing anything else, just throw it in the chat because I don't know. I did not make any notes for this live stream since we were running so behind, but so be it. So I do want to mention this. Next week, again, we are hosting our next live stream Tuesday. So next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. will be our next live stream. We're going to be doing our most anticipated list. So you guys are not going to want to miss that because we're going to talk about all the houses, all the scare zones and the shows, where our rankings lie. We actually have not talked about that together with each other. So I don't even know your list. You don't know my list. But we'll talk about it eventually leading up to that day. And we'll chat with you guys about what your most anticipated list as well. That'll be next Tuesday. And then next week, a week from now, Friday, we will host the second live stream. And that is going to be our Halloween Horror Nights sports draft between Stephanie and I, where we are trying to go head-to-head against each other to see who can create the best Halloween Horror Nights lineup of all time. So out of all the houses, all shows, scare zones, everything that's ever existed at Halloween Horror Nights, we're going to be making a draft. And we're going to see who's got the best one, and you guys will vote on who wins that stream. Still haven't thought of anything about a winner gets what, loser gets what, whatever thing, but I don't know. Don't count on that part for sure. So moving into the main event for tonight, we have Halloween Horror Nights Hot Takes, Hot or Not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Halloween Horror Nights Hot Takes, Hot or Not. We have a total of 17 hot takes that we're going to be going over in tonight's live stream. We're going to be deciding whether they are hot or not. We're going to go back and forth and debate on whether we believe this is a hot take or not a hot take. And then we will let you guys have the opportunity of also choosing what is what.
So remember, hot take, like if we say it's hot or not, that doesn't mean like hot is good, not is bad. That means hot take is like nobody agrees with you. And
yeah, that's like that's a hot take.
And not is a cold take, which is like, yeah, everybody kind of
that's kind of a popular
everybody
opinion,
agrees
yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be doing the first one that we have here on the screen. By the way, all of these are anonymous, but it was all of your submissions from YouTube, Instagram. We had a lot. And I'm sorry if we can't get through all of them, but these are a couple that we did pick. We have 17 to go through for today. And starting off, HHN Hot Takes, Hot or Not. The first one, getting rid of Express on season passes was needed. By the way, everybody stay respectful in the comments,
well,
too.
I will say, I'll start it off by saying that we have talked about this extensively. And of course, we are sad about this change because we did always get Express with our frequent fair passes. It worked for us. So it's sad. But I will also say that we don't know if it was needed until we see how this year plays out. Because I do feel like if the lines are exactly the same and they don't move any faster and standby is just as long, then it's like, was it really needed, or did it just kind of screw over some people but not everybody, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, this take right, I personally think it's a hot take, but because I side on the other side of this argument where Nico, this was the way we went to Halloween Horror Nights. This is how we did Halloween Horror Nights. This was our style for years and years and years. And this was going to be the way that we were going to do it this year, just because Steph's pregnant. We don't want to be waiting in lines too long, when we do get to go to the event. Getting rid of Express on-season passes was needed. Just like Stephanie mentioned, it's hard to say whether this statement stands true or not, just for the fact that we have not seen this put into action yet for this year. With how busy Halloween Horror Nights has been getting and the conversation of Express, not Express, and all this stuff, I'm curious to see what the results are for this. I hope, even though I don't like what Universal did, I hope that it works out for the better. I hope that all decisions that they ultimately make does end up making the event better overall. It'll work for some, it won't work for others. It's just, that's how it happens. But yeah, I think what I'm more upset with is how they handled it versus just them taking it away. It's, how they took it away and stuff. But I personally will say this is a hot take. I think genuinely this is kind of in the middle between being hot or not, just for the fact of depending on what side you are on the aisle. So if you had to pick one side, hot or not, what are you choosing, Steph?
I would say it's a hot take, only because
of our personal experience.
You know what? I will say it's hard because I would say it's like a warm take.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's kind of in the middle. I personally, even though I really want to scream out loud that this is a hot take, it's a not hot take, in my opinion. I will side with it being not a hot take because I think a lot of people
do
agree with this.
Yes.
But again, I don't think that we have factual evidence to go off of if this is a true statement or not yet. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I think it's like a warm take, which makes it not a hot take.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, good reasoning. That's exactly how it works. I love that. Let's see. We got some people saying hot, some people saying not. A good amount of people say medium. It's in between. Yeah, and just like WHS cheer, baby. Agree with Steph. Need to see if it makes a difference or not. That's exactly how I feel. We got to see if this makes an actual difference or not. Mm-hmm. So we're both going with not hot, with not or hot.
I don't know, because it's like, also, are we doing this based on, is it a hot take as in like, do we think personally it's a hot take because we don't agree? Or
I will say we can answer what we believe, whether it's hot or not, but the answer we give is what we think is what's true within the community. Because I personally would say this is a hot take because I don't believe in it, but I do think majority, this one belongs on the not.
That's how I think we should be voting, is like
ours?
What we personally
You want to do that?
Sure.
Screw it. I like it. Let's set the world on fire. So we're going to say this is a hot take. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so this will be a hot take, ladies and gentlemen.
In general, it's a warm take, though.
Yeah, I agree, though. All right, moving on to HHN Hot Takes, hot or not. Number 2, we have Jack is overrated. The other icons need another turn in the spotlight. Stephanie, hot or not? Stephanie is hot, in my opinion.
See, I would say, I don't know, it's hard because I do think that Jack is the predominant icon. However, there's a reason for that. Like, he's kind of the ringmaster. So I don't necessarily think
supposedly he was a ringmaster. I have some serious questions for the team about this year's HHN as far as story and lore goes. It feels like, to me personally, it's not making sense. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't think he's overrated. I think there has been periods of time where it's been like, okay, we get it. Like, Jack just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he is like the original icon.
Yeah, I mean, he is. And the other icons that I believe is being talked about in this one too, they kind of follow Jack in a way. You know, they kind of go with his path.
Yeah.
And it seems like wherever he goes, especially if you look back at to older HHN lore, early 2000s to 2010s, when all the icons were there, Jack was kind of the leader amongst all the icons. Of course, when you get into Conversations of Fear, that all changes. But here's the thing. I feel like I could read this as two different statements.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say is like, I would say the first sentence is a hot take, but then I would say the second sentence is not a hot take. Because I do agree that the other icons do need more time in the spotlight.
I agree.
But I don't necessarily think Jack is overrated.
I agree.
But I did want to mention Vanessa's comment. She said, we're getting a hot storyteller this year.
I forgot to... Okay. Oh, my God.
Why
Hold up.
Why is the storyteller on the merch like
A child.
35?
Okay. Can I say this real quick? I know. Hold up. We'll get back to hot or not. I got to go back to the merch. 1 second. I have some serious questions when it comes to the merch. Whoever designed the merch, and they have this new look for Jack, Eddie, Chance, and Storyteller. Why? Is this just for merch and they just made it for this one little thing and they're like, here, like, we wanted to change some things up?
Yes.
Because if it is, fine. But the thing is, when you are touching something that has been around for decades and it's icons, Halloween Horror Nights icons, beloved icons that have stories, lore, backgrounds, everything, their look is iconic for a reason. They're known for their look, like storytelling.
Maybe we get a story explaining that.
This is what I'm worried about, is that we don't get a story explaining it, and what's going to end up happening is people are going to start calling them out for what's the reason of this, and they're going to realize we need to make a story to make this make sense. Versus if they just made this as just a merch thing, it's just for merch, it's for fun, guys. I'm okay with that. Cool. I still actually have a problem. I'll get it to you in that second. But if this is for story, why are we not hearing about this in the first place? What do you mean storyteller looks completely different? You go into Five and Dime, you have a picture of her looking like she's in her like early 30s, young and everything. But then you go to the Scare Zone and it's the storyteller we know today, the way that she's always looked.
Yeah.
So it's like,
she's a grandma.
Yeah. Grandma Robinson.
No. You know what I mean?
Girl grandpa.
She's supposed to be like, this
yeah, but
storyteller. She sits in a rocking chair. She has like a little shawl.
The way this
but then
looks,
she turns into like really scary.
The way that this looks is that she seems to be like, this is her like.
She almost looks like a fortune teller.
Yeah. And to me, it's kind of making it seem like, are we getting an origin story of storyteller somehow this year? Where we see her when she first came across the book and talking about Terra Cuentas? Is that going to be a thing or not? Another thing I'd like to talk about too is like Eddie and Chance, like completely different. They look very different. And then the main one, Jack the Clown. I just realized I totally forgot to pull up a picture of Jack the Clown and what I see him as. If you guys know that merch that I'm talking about on the cup that Halloween Horror Nights has released this week, Jack the Clown, the picture of Jack the Clown on the cup looks exactly like the artwork, style, and structure of Joker from Batman Arkham Asylum. It's a video game. If you guys search it up right now, if you guys get the chance and you search it up, it looks exactly like Joker's structure.
So I will say that Jack, Chance, and even Eddie a little bit, I could see them as just being like a different style of animation.
Yeah, where it's not a story thing at all.
Yeah,
like, no lore,
it's just a different style of animation.
Which I'm okay with, except I don't like how Jack literally is the same structure as the Joker. I don't like that.
But storyteller, like, that's not just a different style. That's like a different person. Or she's like aging backwards or something.
They need to explain it if that's the case, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you guys think? And then here's the thing.
Wait, caretaker looks like Shrek.
What?
I don't know.
I gotta look at that. Maybe because of the green color on them. Silver Screen Sage said multiverse. Okay, listen. Let's get back to HHN Hot Takes, hot or not. We're gonna continue with that because there is a comment that I know we will be coming across that gets into this in a little bit, and we'll really get into it.
I do think it's funny though that we've been talking about how they're turning the story of HHN into like the multiverse, like the MCU.
Yeah.
And I lost the comment, but someone said they pulled a MCU Aunt May, like made her like young.
Oh man. All right, let's get back to the hot takes. So Jack is overrated. I would say that's a hot take, but then the other icons need another turn in the spotlight, being a not. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this one as a not hot take.
Okay.
Just for the fact that I do think some people may think Jack is overrated, but I think it's that second sentence that really sends it home of, I do think the other icons do need a spotlight. And if we look back at a lot of past years where all the icons were involved, it did seem like they were just kind of following suit to Jack, which is fine because if you look back at the storyline, it all made sense then. But it's, if you look at the past 3 anniversary years, 25, Jack was the main one. 30, Jack was the main one because it was all about him and the history of him as a character. It wasn't stories, just him as a character. And then 35 is going to be him and Oddfellows. So we have Jack really being present as a big factor. The last big anniversary year that we had, 20, had Fear. That was the last time we had it. I mean, Chance, she was the icon in 26 and those other sub years, but I'd say a not hot take. That's my statement. All right. Moving on to hot take number 3. 2 p.m. houses should be illegal. Answer in 3, 2, 1.
Cold. Oh.
Not hot? I'm kidding. I clicked the wrong button. It's not. 2 p.m. houses should be illegal. Agreed. Like, we could just move forward.
Yeah, we've talked about this. We will not be going through houses at 2 p.m. But if other people want to do that and then leave early and give everybody else like less of a line for later in the night, then that's fine with me.
Yeah, a lot of people right now saying not. JC Smith said straight to jail. I agree. Not for sure. Yeah, what's with the 2 p.m. houses? And here's the thing. I've had a lot of people message me and say like, they're excited for the 2 p.m. houses. They think it'll help out and all that stuff. And I get that. I can see where this could be beneficial. I'm a local, okay? My way of doing Halloween Horror Nights is very different than a lot of other people, whether I'm local or not. But a 2 p.m. haunted house would potentially help you and I get more things done the way our time schedule usually goes when we go to Horror Nights, because we sometimes have to leave early. So it could help.
Yeah.
However, it's not whether it could. It's one of those things like just because they could doesn't mean they should. 2 p.m. going into a haunted house just does not feel Halloween Horror Nights to me. It's like we're getting further and further away from the identity of the event at its core. The same with going further and further into August. The fact that right now Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is starting right now is weird to me. Like, I'm all for a Halloween being more and more, but it's like there's a limit to it. There's a reason why these are specialty limited time events. We should not be corporate dragging them as far as we can to get as much as we keep them special, keep them limited, period. Sorry.
They'll change it when people stop buying tickets,
which will never be a thing.
Yep.
Unfortunately. So a lot of people were saying a not hot take. A lot of people agreeing with that, which I'm not really surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Chris does things. Disney mentioned everyone take a shot.
Every live stream we have to have one.
Yeah, we'll do a members only Disney live stream tomorrow night for you guys. Make sure you guys bring all the alcohol. We're gonna take shots all night and talk about all the Disney stuff.
Okay.
You have to be 21 or up. All right, so moving on from this not hot take to number 4, which, Steph, would you like to do the honors of reading this one?
Lil Boo needs to retire.
Stephanie, thoughts? Is this hot or not?
I would say not. It's so hard. I'm really bad at these things because I see,
You play devil's advocate so much.
I can see both sides, and I'm like, but in this context, yes, but in this context, no.
That's how I look at this one.
Yeah,
I look at
'cause
it
it's
from
like,
two different points of, not just points of view, but context itself. Which context are we talking about?
because like him as like a character in the like story of HHN, him like being displayed in HHN, no, but like they can still put his pumpkin up, like wherever they have pumpkins, like still have him there. Do we need like 5 shirts of him every single year? No.
No.
But also, like, if people want to buy it, they can buy it. I'm not going to. So I'm like, I don't think they need to get rid of him altogether, but I do think we need to move on from like him being a focal point.
I agree. It was so cool back in 2021 for HHN 30. You had him in Wicked Growth. The fans loved it. Universal then takes that and blows it out of proportion for HHN 31, and I think that was fine at the time being, because also I'm having some serious heartburn.
So, Buffalo.
It was good though, worth it. But anyways, I think it was fine the way they used him for HHN 31 because the theme for that year was classic traditional Halloween. So pumpkins was a big thing, and he kind of fit that. I thought that was cool. When we got to HHN 32, and they just kept using him, and then HHN 33. That was a big one. Here's another one. Anyways, they just like kept overusing him, and I think when they started doing that, it's because it was obviously they were hungry for money, and they just realized Little Boo merch kept selling. And like I understand it from a business perspective, but it's just like now they got to the point where they kind of killed him off, and this was something that was special for the fans.
This is such a thing, like in just like pop culture in general. Like if a company or even like this happens with memes too. Like when somebody's being memed, once they acknowledge it and they play into the meme and they like start like doing it over and over, it dies. Everybody's like, all right, now it's not funny. It's the same thing like this. Like if you have like in the theme parks, if there's like a inside thing amongst guests, and then the actual theme park is like, oh yeah, we want to be in on this, and they start doing it, it just kills it.
I agree. I wish that I'm okay with them getting involved in those things that the fans do, but do it at a very minimal scale, very small, make it very limited again, because the fans will love it, but it won't kill that. It kind of like killed the specialty of Little Boo, in my opinion. So Little Boo needs to retire. Hot or not? I'm seeing a lot of yeses, a lot of hots.
No, I think that's a not. I think they're saying yes, I agree, which would be not.
Oh, got it. Okay. Because I'm seeing not. I'm seeing a hot. I'm seeing ice baby. Agreed, not. Yeah, I will say this. In my opinion, in Steph's opinion, Lil Boo needs to retire. Is this a hot take? No. Don't think this is. I think they just butchered our boy. They just said, hey, how much can we just rake money out of this guy? It's the Grogu of HHN.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So anyways, Lil Boo needs to retire. Not a hot take. Next one up, the 5th hot take of the day. Scream Early has ruined rope drop. Here's the thing. This year's Scream Early, in my opinion, has ruined rope drop. But if we go back to earlier years, I mean, even like the 30s, HH31, HHN 2018, if we look at those Scream Earlys, I don't think they have ruined rope drop. I think the way Scream Early has become now, it's so logistical, so different. There's different options. The price point of it's gotten crazy. Now you have 2 p.m. houses and all that stuff. I think the way that this year's Scream Early reminds me of when they first announced the premium Scream Nights being before the event, and then they done the Behind the Screams tour before the event kicks off. Those to me were ruining opening nights. I was okay with Scream Early when originally it was you need to be in the park before 5 o'clock. They would open the Scream Early holding areas by 4 p.m. and then they wouldn't open the houses, certain houses, usually like 2 or 3, until 5:45, and then mainly 6:15, 6:30 the houses would open. I thought that was perfect because those people are just getting like a 45-minute head start, and then to 6:30 the crowds would come in, and it would be it was nice. Now you have an opportunity for people to get a 4.5-hour kickstart on HHN.
Yeah.
That to me is way too much.
See, my thing is, I do think it has technically ruined rope drop in the sense that it's made rope drop not as big of a deal, but
specifically like the opening ceremony.
Yes. But I personally don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Only because for most nights, or for some of the bigger nights, especially like opening night, like weekend nights, things like that, the line for rope drop or for the opening ceremonies would be like insane. And you have people sitting out there in the heat for like multiple hours trying to be like first to the gates. And now you don't have to do that. You could choose to buy a ticket and go in early. So while I think it has taken away the allure of like opening ceremonies and rope drop, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing.
So where are you citing? Scream early has ruined rope drop. Hot take
I guess
not?
I would say not, because I do agree that it has like changed rope drop. I don't know. I think ruined is a strong word, but it definitely has like diminished it.
Okay. Chat, what are we thinking? Is this a hot take or is this not a hot take? Type in the chat. What are we thinking? Because I'm not sure. Psycho Massacre Film said, wow, Brian said it best. I don't even remember what I said. I don't know. Or maybe that was towards the little boo thing. Maybe I scrolled too far. Okay, I refreshed the chat. All right, I see there's more chat. So we got a not, we got a hot, we got a not. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one because, like, do I think Scream Early ruined rope drop? No, but then if we're talking about this year coming up, I do think that there's an argument to be made with this. I don't think there's that specialty. I think Horror Nights is getting away from the specialty of opening night like it used to be. I don't think opening night is as special as it used to be. It's still special. But the fact that you have things like Behind the Streams tour happening weeks beforehand, the fact that we have Premium Scream Night happening before the event, it's not like it's the opening night when those gates open for the first time. This is the first time people are going through. It doesn't feel like that. So I can get behind this comment a little bit.
Yeah, but I also don't like the hundreds of people standing behind the gate and then them opening it all at once. I hate that.
But sometimes it's cool when you get to look at it. Now, if you're in the very middle and you got all these people, yes. But here's the thing. I'm okay with being in the middle of that entire crowd if it was 70 degrees out. There's a light breeze and there was no chance of rain.
I don't like large crowds, which is so funny. We love the theme parks, but like being in the middle of large crowds makes me really anxious. So
I'm okay with large crowds if people weren't stupid. Yes.
Okay, so hot or not?
I'll let you have the answer for this one.
I think not, because I agree it's changed it.
So you'll say not? All right.
Yes.
We'll go with not. I'm seeing some people say hot, some people say not. Some say room temp, which depends. Yes, Psycho, I got you. Little yeah. I had to refresh my chat. All right, moving on to HHN Hot Takes, hot or not, number 6. We have Universal should be more restrictive with the amount of tickets they sell in regards to HHN.
I'm going to not.
I'm going to say this is not a hot take either. I mean,
no, I agree. They should limit it more. And well,
I would say, oh, okay. Maybe we're on a different page.
This comment it was longer than this. We had to shorten some of them. Most of these were a little bit longer than what's actually on here. But this one in particular, they gave a little bit more of an explanation. And they had said, again, we're going to talk about Disney, but Mickey's Not So Scary. It doesn't, they do truly limit the tickets there. And when you go to Mickey's Not So Scary, it doesn't feel like it's the park is at capacity.
In certain areas. Main Street always feels hectic, but most things happen on Main Street.
But
when you're walking around the park, it doesn't feel that way.
Universal during HHN, sometimes it feels like this park is at capacity.
Yeah. In every section of the park.
Yeah.
You know, this is tough because I'm on both sides for the fact of I do think the event's getting so busy. Here's my thing. Do I think this is a hot take or not? I say no because I think a lot of people have been thinking of this as well. Because I think a lot of people are believing this is one of the only solutions to helping with the crowds. I will say it is one of the solutions, but I don't think it's the only solution. I think there are plenty of other ways that they can help alleviate the current crowd. Now, that does not mean if they decide to open another attraction that they can bring another 3,000 guests in. No, I think where we're at right now, we should not get any bigger than that. However, it's tough because if they start limiting tickets or raising prices is tough already. Nobody's having a good time right now with money. But if we go back and look at, should they cap the amount of tickets they sell? Are we talking about cap as in current capacity where they have it, or even less? And if we do say they should be selling less tickets,
Yeah, because they're saying they should be more restrictive. So
I know.
less.
But this is where I'm arguing against it. If that's the case, they're going to have to take away multi-night passes or at least limit them much more. You're going to have a lot of people who go to HHN for the last 20 years who always get multi-night. That's not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, and we've talked about this, where we think Halloween Horror Nights has been taken over by corporate Universal versus creative Universal. And because of that, they don't really care so much directly about the hardcore fans like what creative entertainment HHN used to be when it was all for the creative fans or the hardcore fans. I feel like they've changed direction, and because of that, will they lose their core value customer, their guest that has given them this if you will, the look that they've been known for years and years? Are we going to lose that history because they're going this different route where now Horror Nights won't have a distinguished look about itself because it's too mainstream? And that's a thing we're going to get into later on too. So I'm afraid that by lowering the limit, the first thing they're going to go after is multi-night passes. And by doing so, it's going to directly affect some of your hardcore fan base. And by doing that, you're going to divide the fan base even more than it already is, which I feel like will become a Star Wars effect, what Disney did with Star Wars in the last 10 years, to where people are just going to be like, I don't care anymore. And you're going to have that rift, that split and division. And it's not going to feel special. It's only going to go for those people who are like, oh, this is a popular thing to do. We should just go and try it out. Versus the people who are like, hey, I've been going since, 2005. And I've seen all these different things, and they have the ability to tell the history and see how it's evolved over the time. I'm thinking like deep into this, like years down the road of what this could potentially be, if it's a positive or negative. I'm looking at it from both ways because I do think Universal has a capacity issue with HHN. It's been so busy, but at the same time, depending on how they respond to that, it could actually lead to something even worse down the road that we're not aware of, because we're just looking at it from a short term point of view, like in the next 2 years. Imagine this year if we take Express away. Imagine if we, take away multi-night passes. Like that might actually help alleviate the crowds this year. But in 5 years, what does that look like? What does that look like in 10 years? Does Halloween Horror Nights lose an identity with its hardcore fan base? What does that become? It becomes AI.
So
Anyways.
You say hot.
It just depends. It depends. I think it's not a hot take overall. I think a lot of people...
Your opinion.
My opinion, I would say if this isn't the point of view that does lead to the potential harm of multi-night tickets and locals and the hardcore fan base, then I think it is a hot take. But again, it's one of those situations like we talked about with Express passes being taken away. We won't really know what the results are until we experience it this year. So I'll keep it as a not hot take. How about that? What do you guys think? Did I go over explanation? Just a tad. I hear Steph's deep breath. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, hot take number 6, we go with not. So moving on to number 7. Steph, you want to go ahead and read this one since you're excited for this most?
Fort Nightmares will turn out to be the best scare zone Central Park has ever seen. Hot. Immediately hot.
All right, let's move on to number 8.
We have had Trick or Treat. We have had Twisted Traditions. We've had such good scare zones in that street. Even if Fortnite is good, I'm not saying it's going to be awful, but even if it's good, I don't think it will be the best one Central Park has ever seen.
Also, shout out to Dre for his comment. They care much less about the hardcore fans these days. We got you. Yeah, I will say this. As somebody who thinks Fortnite coming to HHN is a bad idea, I will say Fortnite as a scare zone in Central Park will be awesome. I will side with that. I think it will be an awesome scare zone. I don't think it should not be at the event, period. Like, it should not be at the event. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. However, though, based on this comment, Fortnite Mirrors will turn out to be the best scare zone Central Park has ever had. I don't see that happening just simply for the fact that Twisted Traditions exist. Twisted Traditions, is, to me, that is Halloween. And in Central Park, there's nothing that was better than pumpkins filled throughout the trees and stuff. And then the stilt walkers, the pumpkin stilts and stuff, like those were just incredible original characters. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah. Even the Scarecrow zone in there was really good.
Scarecrow was awesome. I loved Scarecrow.
I just don't see it being better than one of those.
Now, will Four Nightmares beat Gorewood Forest? Potentially. There's a chance for that.
Could be. I mean, the last few years, Central Park has not been not lived up to its potential, I think.
Really? I mean, Cat Lady
was good.
Cat Lady was good. Before Cat Lady at 33, was that...
It's the Bayou...
Yeah, the swamp zombies, which I thought that was fine. I genuinely liked the swamp zombies. I thought that was fine. You know, like it's simple Central Park type of scare zone. Before that, we had Scarecrow, and then 31 we had
the Viking.
Oh, that was 2019.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, whoa, honey, whoa.
What was 31?
Or was 31 Scarecrow, and 32?
31 was Scarecrow.
31 was Scarecrow. What was 32? Ladies and gentlemen.
Terror Queen.
Nope, Terror Queen was 30.
Oh.
32. What was this Central Park scare zone for 32? First one in the chat that gets this answer correct wins.
Oddfellow. Oh, yeah, the jungle.
Oh,
Oddfellow
the jungle.
One.
Yeah, it shows you how much we care about.
That was
Oddfellow.
fun.
Yeah, there was a lot to that scare zone. So I feel like the scare zones in Central Park have been
But
good.
they have not lived up to Twisted Traditions or Trick or Treat.
No.
So I think if you have only experienced HHN from like 32 to now, maybe you might think, yeah, Fortnite's going to be the best one ever. But if you never went through Trick or Treat or Twisted Traditions or Scarecrow, then you might think differently.
Yeah, it definitely is an interesting conversation to have where you have fans who have been going for, 10 plus years who've gotten to see all these different things, and then fans of recent years, which again, nothing wrong with it. Welcome to the club. It is different, That's why I have a huge respect for the hardcore fan base of HHN, the fans who've been going since the early 2000s, the 90s. I have a huge respect for them because they know what Horror Nights was at the beginning. They have seen all of this. I feel like their word is much more trustworthy than my word, much more trustworthy than anybody who's been going in the last few years for their first time, just because they've seen what it used to be in the changes. I feel like, again, it's online, the internet, seems like nowadays people don't respect those people with their opinions as much. I feel like we should respect those opinions more because they've been here, they've seen it.
It's
for
the same.
years.
It's that same generational divide where it's always gonna be like,
yeah,
you guys just think that,
say it.
That your time was better, but it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that generation will always be like, I walked to school uphill both ways.
Supposedly my dad had to trudge through 16 miles of snow up to his chest just to get to kindergarten. So, yeah, that's the thing, I guess. All right, so Fortnite Mirrors will turn out to be the best scare zone Central Park has ever had. Hot take. I think we agree with that one. All right, moving on to number 8. It's easier to have fun in the scare zones than the houses. Now, this is one of those other comments that we had that there is more to it. I'm just going to, right off the top of my head, I think the person who commented, they said, considering the long waits and the potential to miss scares
Yeah.
in the house, it's easier to have fun in the scare zones than the houses themselves. So just off of this statement in front of you guys on the screen, is it easier to have fun in the scare zones than the houses? Sure, because you have a lot more freedom. And if you go off of what the guy commented about missing scares and the long waits, definitely, yes. If we're going off of that full comment, yeah, it's easier because you don't have to wait in the scare zone and all that stuff. You can get food, you can have a drink, you can find a bench, sit down, you can watch people get scared, you can interact. There's a lot more freedom with the scare zones. However, I always feel like I have a better time when I have a house experience than I have a scare zone experience.
Like a good one versus like a good house experience beats a good scare zone experience.
Yes. Like at the end of the event, what is the one thing we're always looking back? Or what is the one thing we're like, yeah, we have to do? It's the houses.
That's where I think that this person was thinking it's a hot take because like the houses are what you go to HHN for. But I do think...
Well, we go for the food and then the houses are just
But
there.
I do think technically it is easier to... You have more freedom in the scare zones if you want to sit there for an hour. If you want to like talk to your friends, like you can.
Yeah.
But like in the houses, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And you're like being like...
It's a limited experience
you
right
like
there.
have to go at a certain pace. But I do think that like a good house experience is more fun than like a good scare zone.
I think a mediocre mid-house experience is better than the best scare zone experience.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mr. Disney King. This is where I am on like the way I think about this is I don't think that scare zones are scary. Like I don't get scared in scare zones typically, like maybe a little jump if someone comes up behind me, but like it's too spread out. And there's too many people, like guests and stuff.
Feels too safe to me.
Houses, I like how tight it is, and like they can control the environment. It's really dark. Like,
the experience feels more personal when you go through a house. Like the scare factor, it feels more personally driven directly towards you. Where in a scare zone, with everybody all around the place, I don't feel like it's directly just me experiencing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of other people get to experience it, which I personally, that's how I like to experience scare zones is, you know, I'll just go through it, but I like seeing people's reaction and stuff. Where the house, that's where I'm like, okay, this is my experience in this setting and stuff. I'm going to see what happens when I go through this.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have more fun.
Yeah.
So I think it depends, like what your style is at Halloween Horror Nights.
So what would you say? This is hot or not?
I think this is a hot take.
Okay.
You agree? I need you to because I'm clicking it.
I think it's a warm take. I think it's very mild.
It just depends on the point. Like, for instance, just reading this, it's easier to have fun in the scare zones than the houses. Yeah, it is easier. But I don't know. Again, like you just go through a house and it's like we get excited just about to go through the house. We're already having fun. And then going through it, you're having fun. The fact that you're going through it. A scare zone, there are so many other factors that play into the fact. I don't know. It depends.
All right. We'll just say hot.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at it like this. My best house experience versus my best scare zone experience. I'm going to go with the house experience. Always.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, C-Links in City is tight. Yeah. I agree. That'd be great. All right, moving on to number 9. Steph, take it away.
Universal needs to pick between lore and storytelling or licenses.
Your thought. Is this hot or not?
So this one also had more of an explanation, and it was kind of saying like when they try to get all these big like IPs and licenses and like really highlight those, but then at the same time they're trying to tell this like backstory with like more of the originals, sometimes it gets a little muddied, which I do agree with. But I think there is a way that they can have the IPs and the licenses like match the story for the year. But if they can't, then maybe we don't need a big lore-driven year. So maybe I do agree. I don't know.
This one's tough. I'm seeing Dre said, ooh, nah, and then replied, that's a good one. Jen K said, not. I would love an all-original house year. Mr. Disney King said, hot. I enjoy and welcome the balance of both. Psycho Masker Film said, I say a balance between IP and original is good. Ceiling says warm. But then Psycho responded saying, however, I do miss years like 2010 and 2011. So hot. Here's the thing.
I almost think I agree with this and say not, where I would say like we don't need 5 IPs and 5 originals. Like if you can get if you want to tell like a story or have a theme for the year, if you can get 5 IPs that match the theme, great. But if you can only get 3 that match the theme and then you have 7 originals, I think that for me, I would like that better. But I know for like the general guest, like that, 4th or 5th IP might be what gets them to go to the event.
Here's what I would like to say right now. Universal, I'd like to challenge you. Why don't we just do next year? I hate talking about future years of HHN when the current event is still going on, but I'm going to give a pass for this one. Universal, I challenge you. Why don't you just make next year just a year of all originals? No IPs. And just see what happens. I'd love to see where, we used to get in debates about this, talking about whether Halloween Horror Nights needs to have IPs. Is IPs what brings people in? I don't think that's necessarily...
This would have been the year to do that.
I know. Don't get me started on that. But I don't think that's the case anymore like it used to be. However, yes, you do have arguments to make about certain IPs do bring a certain crowd. Like Fortnite. That's the one thing we've argued with Fortnite, why we don't want it at the events, because it's geared more towards a younger audience. And now I'm not against, a younger crowd coming to HHN. If they want to come and experience it and they love it and they behave, awesome. That's cool. Like that's a win, But it's the fact that they are appealing to a younger audience with Fortnite, but at the same time, they have an audience with Hellraiser. And that younger audience is probably going to experience the Hellraiser kind of experience. And it's like, to me, that's a little off to me. I challenge Universal just to do an all-out originals year and just see, will it be popular? Will tickets still sell out?
Or
will still so many people go? Is the Halloween Horror Nights brand as big as it is where they don't need IPs and they can succeed on their own? I genuinely want to know.
Or were they smart in doing Evil Dead, Ozzy Osbourne,
I know where
and
you're going with this.
Hellraiser? Because they were like, those kids are not going to want to go in that house. So maybe the line won't be as long. Hopefully. But I saw a comment and I think they may have deleted it. But I do agree that like some of the lore and background story is starting to get a little...
We're going to get into that.
A little too much.
We're going to get into that in a second. There's a comment coming up that we do get into that.
So like, it's so hard because I know they can't have every single house, every single scare zone play into the theme because like last year,
if they did all originals,
if they did every single house, every single scare zone played into that conservatory theme, it might be a year that I didn't really like because it was a little too like slow and like that for me.
Well, the conservatory theme that they had is because they didn't actually have an overall theme for the event. They just play that front scare zone to be the conservatory. But with the artist's idea behind it, they could have had all the different genre of stories where you can have thriller, you can have slasher, you can have suspense, you can have the somber, sad, depressing side of things. And there could have been all those tastes that still fit the theme loosely, but it could have still fit.
It's difficult. It'd be very difficult for them to stick to that, especially with IPs. I completely forgot where I was going with that, but
sorry, my bad.
It's okay. But I think I I was thinking how like 2018, 2019, they did a pretty good job, especially 2018. They did a pretty good job with keeping even the IPs, like they're all 80s.
But see, that's the thing.
Except for Blumhouse.
80s, great, right? Awesome. Love the 80s. But when you do something that's focused on a decade, it's much easier to keep that themed than when they do something like what they're doing this year with like a circus, something specific, you know? But there are like actual like circus-esque themed clown chaotic control type themed movies out there that could have fit the theme, and we've talked about this before. We actually made a list about that too. So I don't know, this is a good one. Universal needs to pick between lore and storytelling or licenses.
See, Carla, you should have, I think your name is Carla, or that's just the first few letters of your thing, but that should have been a hot take that was submitted. They don't like the 80s.
Hate the 80s hot take? Yeah, get out of here.
What
are you talking about?
That's very hot.
I love the 80s.
Yeah, I think it depends on the theme. Sometimes it's like too hard to make every single house and scare zone fit the theme. But then like that's where I think then we shouldn't have this big like lore and story behind it all, because then it's like it just gets lost. The lore gets lost behind like all the IPs and all of that.
I'll say this. I think I like the balance. I think it's okay to have IPs in the event, even if they don't match the theme to the event. I think that's okay. I think there could be an argument for that. The problem that I see is, again, I don't think the creatives are in charge of Halloween Horror Nights. I think corporate and legal took charge of Halloween Horror Nights. And because of that, the focus is more on the licenses and getting mainstream popular things in pop culture for Halloween Horror Nights, whether it's horror or not, like specific. I think they're focusing on that numbers, sales, more than they are the creative side. So the creative side is not getting that big push in control. So the storytelling and the lore sometimes feels a little displaced when paired with the IPs. I think the balance is fine, but I just don't think the right team is in control. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm sorry. Forgive me. But that's just my personal opinion on what I'm seeing. I do think if the creatives were fully in control, even they bring Stranger Things for a carnival themed year, whatever, I still think that the story would make sense, the IP could exist on its own, and that just be the case. I think where we see the issue is, in my personal opinion, this may be a hot take, and we're going to get into it a little bit later too. I don't think the story currently with Jack and Oddfellow this year makes any sense at all.
Agreed.
And I think it's getting to that Avengers multiverse type of level scenario where I think in general, we're going to talk about this more, so I'm going to stop before I keep getting further, but I think it's getting to a level of where we're getting too complex for the lore that a lot of people are backing out, where I miss simplicity with lore. I love lore. I'm a big lore guy, and you can ask Steph how many times I think of this, and all this, but I do miss the simplicity of days when it was like, the lore that we're talking about this year is you're on this street for Halloween, and every year at this one house, there's this psycho who's been, capturing people and all that stuff. And it's just simple.
Even
That's
just
it.
the other icons. It's like, oh, this is
yes. Let's do an Usher year.
He likes to,
Let's do an Usher year. Let's do another Usher and director year where combined, we're another films type of year, and IPs make sense. Let's do another original icon. This is one of the icons I mentioned to you a long time ago that they should make, where it is video game-esque, and we could bring some of the horror video games to life, like Resident Evil, Last of Us, Dead Space. Name horror games, and then those could be the IPs, but then you have some original stories that are like video games, but they're presented as just stories.
Yeah.
I
think I would wager to say that the IPs and the companies that run that own the licenses have been getting harder and harder to work with.
I agree.
And I think that their legal teams have been getting more, we see legal in general in the world just getting more and more, like every time something happens, they have to they have to add another rule, and then it just like keeps going and going to where like I feel like even the IPs are probably hard to work with. In like, for your example, I could see other video games being like, we want to be the only video game. We don't want to be at an event that's advertising other video games that are our competitors.
That's when I grab the belt and I smack them and I say, you need to behave and learn to share like your mom and dad taught you to. Stop being greedy.
But you see what I mean?
It's talked about in the Bible. That's the greed we talk about.
I can see how the licenses are probably hard to work with.
It's competitive.
And where it's hard to make one theme with them for a whole year.
But I mean, again, even like talking about the theme with the IPs, I'm okay with the IPs not being involved in the theme. But I just feel like for some reason this year specifically, past years I haven't felt like that as much. But this, we'll talk about it more. There's another comment we'll get to that does bring it up. But I want to read some comments that I've seen. Psycho Massacre Film said Woods theme, and they have Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods, La Llorona, and The Walking Dead. Perfect. Those are IPs that fit the Woods theme. Just a generic Woods. Yeah. Imagine going to Halloween Horror Nights and the arches. I know they like being cheap and doing like projections and stuff. They can project like trees and stuff like that. And as you're walking up, you hear like the typical crickets, a wolf howl. It feels like the wolf or the woods. Am I getting too far?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
Let's do the next one.
All right.
Hot or not?
Hot or not? What do we think? I don't think this is a hot take.
No.
I think there's an argument to be made with this. Generally, so I said generally and genuinely together. Genuinely.
Watching too much Love Island, saying genuinely.
Yeah. The next one, Love Island needs to stop. Hot or not? Not.
All right, go to the next one.
All right, moving on. So, okay, what do we think, guys? It was this comment right here. Universal needs to pick between lore and storytelling or licenses. Is this hot or is this not? What are we thinking?
Yeah, it's so hard because like decades is such a like easy one because you just do different things in that decade. But there's only so many decades that you can do.
Yeah, Dre says retcon the entire thing and focus on one icon each year. Oh my gosh, we like should do like we need to do a video, but we don't have time this year because of what we're doing. But live stream wise, it'd be cool. I just know you would not like this stuff where we just talk about the lore and why I think this year they're kind of retconning a lot of past years with this year. Should I briefly mention that or no? Because I'll forget about it.
Ask everybody else. Do you want...
I'm seeing people say not. This is a not take, so we're agreeing. But should I mention... What do you guys think? Should I give my brief 2-minute description on the retcon of Halloween Horror Nights or no? We'll leave it up to the fans. I get 2 minutes max if they say yes. If no, then we move on to the next hot take. Yes. If Steph is not into it, then it'll be a one-on-one Brian stream with us.
I just know this will not be 2 minutes. And...
I'll keep it 2 minutes. Time me. Go ahead and put it on the clock. Here, I'll do it right now for you. I'll keep it 2 minutes, just for you. I know you're pregnant and I can't push it, but here, I'll let you control the timer. Nico's even gonna keep time. Hold up. Let me go to the main feed real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief. You ready? I'm gonna when you're ready.
Kick it with your nose.
Once Nico. All right, so 2 minutes on the clock. So, in my opinion, the way that they're kind of going with this year's lore is they've kind of been setting up for 35 years. Jack hates Oddfellow. Oddfellow hates Jack. They've both killed each other, right? And then all of a sudden in this year, and I could be wrong because we still have not experienced the house this year. The Jack and Oddfellow house this year, we'll explain more of that. But they get to the pinnacle on top of the cane of skull or souls or whatever they're fighting, and they're like, you know what? There's no point in this. We both can't reach our max unless we're partners and we're friends. And that's kind of the route they're going. They're like, together we're even more powerful. And of course, I think that they want to overthrow Fear because they want to control Halloween Horror Nights. They want to be the big baddie, but Fear is the big baddie. However, the way I look at it that this year is them partnering makes no sense in their true personalities. Now, I do think they have this partnership, but they still don't trust each other and they're waiting to backstab one another down the road. I just think that's a little weird. The fact that they're going this route to me feels like they're retconning the way Jack and Oddfellow has always been in past years because they've already retconned this before. When the Oddfellow year came around, they have retconned like history and stuff with them. But I think the way that they're going with this is that they want to get rid of the Bloody Mary timeline because they don't own the rights to that, and how Bloody Mary kind of helped Jack get out of Fear's lantern and this whole thing and Legendary Truth, all of this stuff. I think they want to get away from that because they don't own the licensing. They can't continue the story. So bringing Oddfellow and going with this cosmic Zodiac universe thing where they can go multiverses and change a different route and hope that people forget what the past was. I think that's what they're doing, and they're partnering and they're hoping to change the storyline of Jack and Oddfellow with the Icons against Fear, and then maybe one of them backstabs another down the road. I think this year is lining up for a potential retcon without us even knowing it. 2 minutes, boom. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, Dre said they don't even talk about Fear, they ignore him.
I know. I know.
My like knee-jerk thought on that is that the costume is too hard. I really think that's the reason.
I could see that actually
because
being
he's on
plausible.
stilts, shirtless. They have to find someone that's okay with doing that and can walk stilts. I just think the costume's too hard.
Here's my thing. I have said since HHN 30, and I was talking to you about this stuff, if you remember. Since HHN 30, I talked about how they're leading up to this potential icon war. It's almost like, because at the time, this is when Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame just happened. And I'm like, it feels like the icons are leading this way, especially at HHN 25. Jack, and at 30, even though technically it wasn't story related, you know, has stated that he is Halloween Horror Nights. He wants to run it, but he's not. Fear is. And there's this rift that's kind of going on between Control with this and the power. And Oddfellow comes in, and now they're trying to team up because they realize they're even more powerful. I think maybe we're going to get to the point where HHN 40 comes around. 20 years since Fear was around. We get back to HHN 40. We're going to have this division again, and maybe these years leading up to it is going to be the collection of icons kind of choosing sides and stuff. Because like I can see Pumpkin Lord being on the side of Fear. You know, I could see those like traditional Halloween stuff going towards Fear, the traditional things we know. Whereas the new hip stuff, Jack and Oddfellow are trying to lead this charge against Fear. I can see that. But I'm like, to me, like that's a little too much. I want just simplicity.
Yeah.
So
also people are saying Fear is the on that poster, he's like controlling.
Yes, Mr. Disney King, I found a loophole.
I said always. He's like controlling Jack and Oddfellow. But why does he have clown hair?
Yeah. Another thing we talked about too is that could be the fortune teller, and they finally bring her and she's telling the story.
It's Fear.
I know everyone's saying Fear. I think it's I don't think it's Fear. I genuinely think it's somebody that is telling the story of them. But I think because Oddfellow owns this, which again, the way it seems like they're making this whole story is that Oddfellow is more than Jack in all of this. But I genuinely think because Oddfellow runs this, it's not Fear, but I think it's a mock. Like they're making mockery of Fear because they don't like him. They want to overpower him. They want to be the true essence.
Like a shapeshifter.
Fear?
Mm-hmm.
Fear is everything and anything.
Yeah, so
He's the
I guess he
embodiment.
can look like whatever he wants to.
But his physical presence, yeah. But I don't think that would be Fear doing that. I think it's the creatives just making that and being like, oh, remember, there's still this. But I think in the minds of Oddfellow, it's like they're making a stab at Fear. That's my thought. Yeah. Madame Bazelle, I think she'll be involved somehow because a lot of people complained that she wasn't there last time. So I think we'll see her. Okay. All right. Let's get back to HHN Hot Takes. This live stream will go another 2 hours talking about the lore and stuff. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Halloween Horror Nights Hot Takes. Hot or not, we are moving on to number 10. I like this one.
Alien Abduction House of the Year. Too early to tell, but it's bold.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Hot or not? I got to see the chat. I personally say not.
I personally say hot because. Just because.
Hey, look, I'm going to say this. I really think the alien, it's called Invasion Alien Abduction. I think this house is going to be so much fun. I think it's going to be very serious with a tad sense of humor to it. I think it's a Charles Gray house. Love Charles Gray. I'm a huge fan of Charles Gray. But I think this, Charles Gray does a lot of campy stuff sometimes, but I think they're leaning towards a more like serious approach with this, is what they've said. I think it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. I think it's going to be a cool looking house. We haven't really had an alien house in a long time. I feel like this is going to surprise a lot of people. I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. But I also think some of the people who are like, oh, we'll see, are going to be like, wow, that was actually a really good house. It always obviously comes down to the scare actors at the end. And I think the scare actors in this house will pull it off. We know there's stilt walkers in this house. And, their designs and stuff could be a little difficult to work with, but does create some variety and differences in the scares I'm excited to see. So I personally don't think this is a hot take. I think this is not a hot take, because I also believe that Invasion Alien Abduction is going to be one of the top 3 houses we're going to have of the year and a contender for House of the Year.
I say hot. I agree with Mr. Disney King that I don't think HHN can make aliens that scary. I think aliens are hard to do, like to make scary. And I think when they work really well is when they're like otherworldly, like not just
like the gray
little
men,
green
right?
men. But I don't think that it's easy to put that into a house.
So I will agree with you, but this is what stood out to me about this house, is that the little gray men, right? They're not that tip. They look like that, but when you get up close, they're very animalistic, visceral. They're very different. And the big thing that I'm excited to is that they said their spaceships, right? The UFOs are like living. They have tentacles that come out of them and grab people and rip them. And it makes me almost think of the movie Nope, Jordan Peele's Nope, where you had, what was his name? Jean Jacket, they called him, right? Where he was just this UFO ship, but he was alive in itself and was able to transform. So there's a small mixture of that into it. So it's like, it's not just the aliens, but it's also the ship itself. There's differences.
See, I would say if they were the aliens from Signs, I would agree.
I've never seen that. I don't know. I've never seen it.
They're creepy, but it's not that. So
I think the route they want to go is they want to give the fans something that's familiar with just like the typical look of an alien as far as a silhouette goes. Mm-hmm. But then when you get closer, you realize, oh, these are not those typical big head, bug-eyed aliens. These are very different. That's their approach. And I will say this, I'm going to agree with you a little bit on this, where I think if that concept works, it'll be great. But if that concept does not hit, the house will lack in that feature for sure. But I think, in my opinion, I don't think this is a hot take. I say not.
I think House of the Year is hot. Do I think it has potential? Yes, but I think House of the Year is hot. Personally.
We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, Steph and I are split, hot or not. What are you guys saying? Just type in the chat hot if you think this is a hot take. Alien Abduction is going to be House of the Year. Or type in not if you think this is not a hot take and the Alien Abduction house can be House of the Year.
Caleb said Steph's going to go through the house like Will Smith from Independence Day.
Steph does that with every house. Welcome to Earth. Just like Men in Black. All right, let's see. We got hot. Too early to tell. Not. Ideally, Hellraiser would be hot. Yeah. Not because really anything could win House of the Year. Not hot. We need a Men in Black house. This is your Men in Black house. Not. It's kind of split, but I'm seeing a little more knots.
Yeah, I'm seeing more knots.
But because Stephanie is pregnant, we have to go ahead and abide by the rules of mankind and just vote that it is a hot take. But I do think Justin Silver Screen Sage said not because really anything could win House of the Year, I think is a true statement for this, where like,
yeah,
this
I get that.
Now, saying Fortnitemares will win Scare Zone of the Year, I think there's an argument for that, but who knows? All right, so moving on to hot take number 11, we have the worst HHN icon is Oddfellow. This is going to get into some of that conversation that we were talking about. Is he
an icon or is he an iconic character?
According to Laura Sauce, it's iconic. Remember that whole thing, icon and iconic and all that stuff. And now Laura Salt just says iconic to be safe, which I think is good.
People are saying hot right off the bat. Hot. Oddfellow slander. Hot. Wow.
Wow. Oddfellow sucks.
No.
Oddfellow sucks.
No, Brian. Don't be mean.
Oddfellow.
Wait, okay, so here's the problem. Like, is Sinister and Surreal, are they icons or no?
Hold up, that's a whole different conversation. Hondo, lay down. I know. Hondo has this point.
Storyteller, like, well, also it's hard for us because, like, we weren't there for those years. Like, Storyteller, Lady Luck, we weren't there for those years. So, I don't know.
This is what I'm going to say. So, Steph, hot take or not? Oddfellow is the worst HHN icon.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I'm going to list out the main icons. You have Fear. You have Jack. You have Storyteller. You have Usher. You have Director. You have Caretaker. Lady Luck is technically one of those big icons, but I feel like she's just a little below that, you know? Director, okay, who am I missing? Jack, Director, Usher, Storyteller, Caretaker. Those are your 5. Those are like the original 5, right? Then Fear came along, but Fear is above them. Chance came along, but Chance is, in my opinion, below those 5. The Heralds of Fear, to me, are the big icons.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones who've been running the show for a long time. But then you get, like, Lady Luck came in, Bloody Mary came in, Chance is in, Sinister and Surreal, Pumpkin Lord, you know, people make arguments for that. But I look at it, it's like, who has had a huge impact on the event for a long time? And it's those 5. I always go back to those 5 plus Fear. Oddfellow technically has also had a huge impact on the event because he's always been around since Jack's been around. We just never seen him at the event. But 32 was the first year we got to physically see him at the event as an icon.
But you can't count him as, like, he's not a Herald of Fear.
No, he's not.
So it's not those 5 plus him. You have to also count, like, Pumpkin Lord. And...
No, I know. But this is where my argument comes in. Because the history of Oddfellow has been known as early as Jack the Clown since 2000, he's always been around the event. Pumpkin Lord was very recent. We didn't know Pumpkin Lord until HHN 30, right? So I will agree that Oddfellow is one of those big icons according to the modern era definition of icons.
Yes.
Right? So I'll argue Oddfellow is an icon. Sinister and Surreal, they're an icon. If they controlled the event and the lore and the story of the event, they became an icon. Yes. I don't think Pumpkin Lord necessarily is an icon.
They're treating him like one.
I know they treat him like one, but again, what was the lore that he's done for the event?
I don't know.
So
there was like a little bit of lore with him and the witch.
Yeah, for HHN 30.
Yeah.
And then 31, he, you know, kept growing and stuff, but then that's it. Here, okay. Oh, yeah. And then Bone. Yes, Fungi Gamer, you're right. Bone was an icon. There's a lot that are out there. I mean, even if we want to go way back in the day, Emotep was an icon. The Crypt Keeper was an icon. The Beetlejuice and the Universal Classic Monsters were icons. So we can talk about all that stuff.
That's why they just say iconic characters now. They don't say icons.
Because it's hard to really define it.
Yeah.
However, if we include all those people that are potential icons, iconic characters, is Oddfellow the worst one? Yes and no, according to my opinion. It depends on your perspective. Is he the worst icon? No. I think there are least liked icons than Oddfellow.
People in the comments who were there for those years have said that Lady Luck was way worse.
Yeah. I think Lady Luck is on the lesser side of the fan base than Oddfellow.
More popular, yeah.
I think Oddfellow is more popular. However, the year they introduced Oddfellow, the first thing they did was retcon the story just to bring him in. And because of that, I don't like Oddfellow. Because of what the story originally was, the way they brought him in, they had to change the story to bring him in. I don't think they needed to change the story to bring Oddfellow in at all. I think they could have continued the story, what they had. And now we look at what this year is doing and what it's bringing and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of the way the story is going this year. Now, does that mean that my opinion matters? No, not at all. My opinion, it means jack crap. You know, it's nothing. I look at it as the way that 25 ended and where it was going. It seemed like they just stopped it there. HHN 30 came around. They said, let's just celebrate Jack as a character. And then 35, they're like, all right, let's pick up a story. I want to know, how did Jack get out of the box from 25? You know, I want to know, Chance got out of the, Cary Penitentiary and she took over 26 and stuff. What happened to her afterwards? Where are these main icons, caretaker, usher, storyteller, director, that have followed Jack for so many years? They're going to be present at this year's event stuff. Where are they kind of following along with this and stuff? You know, because they also really don't care for Oddfellow as much. Oddfellow just kind of came into the story and they're like now buddy buddies, you know, when they all had this division beforehand, especially caretaker, his daughter Cindy, like met Oddfellow somehow, and Oddfellow's like, I'm going to give you this portal and stuff. Oddfellow's not a giving person. Like, he gives when he is getting. And it's like, there's a reason why he's doing this with Cindy and caretaker in the streets of Hollywood. Okay. I realize I'm rambling. I apologize. I have so much to say. I don't like the current story direction that we're going, but I also have to play devil's advocate and realize I have not experienced HHN 35 yet, so I can't say I know where the direction is going fully. But 32, the reason why I'm not a fan of Oddfellow is simply because I feel like they could have done way more for him as an icon leading up to the event. We got no Oddfellow videos. We literally did not get anything of Oddfellow leading up to the event until like the week of. And if he was this big icon that they really cared about telling the story, they would have done so much more. And if he has this collaboration with Jack and stuff in this year, they would have done more back in the day. They didn't need to retcon certain things. Now we have 35, and the way that they're telling the story is that Jack and Oddfellow are fighting again. They hate each other, and they're like, you know what? We're stronger together. We'll just team up. And to me, it's like, knowing that Jack and Oddfellow still don't trust each other, they're keeping this alliance because they know they could be more powerful. Oddfellow's trying to screw over Jack. Jack's trying to screw over Oddfellow. Like, where does this lead until it tips, you know? And I don't think Jack, knowing him being this chaotic person in chaos, he doesn't like being controlled. And if Oddfellow's all about control, Jack would not go down this route of even teaming up with Oddfellow. Even if he thinks he's more powerful, he still wouldn't make that choice. To me, that doesn't feel like Jack the Clown. That's my take. I could be wrong, and I might be wrong. But it is now time for me to lay that to rest and get back to Hot or Not.
You crack me up.
You know what also pisses me
You're
off?
like, I'm rambling. I should stop. And then you keep going.
By the way, did you guys see the picture that Universal posted of the back of my head? Anybody see that? That was today. Universal. Hold on, let me get away from Hot or Not real quick.
We can't confirm or deny.
It definitely is me. Those are my glasses. Universal posted on Shop Universal a picture of the back of my head, the back of my shoulders, and my glasses. Those are my glasses. I know those glasses. It
definitely looks like him.
The back of my head for Fast and Furious, a new Hollywood roller coaster that's coming out.
Or Brian has a doppelganger.
And if you guys know who that person is,
or at least the back of the head doppelganger.
Please get me in contact with that person. I'd like to have a conversation. But yeah, Brian getting a royalty check. No, Universal does not like me, guys.
Yeah, I also will say one last thing about the whole lore and all of that. Joey Mayo said, as someone who devours every little bit of HHN lore, it's possible you're taking the story too seriously.
Joey, I agree with you. I am, yes.
Which, yes. But also,
Yes.
like, Universal's been taking it very seriously, but then not at the same time. Like, they're like, oh, this is a story. But then they, like, tell half of it. And it's like...
Thank you. First of all, I'm so happy that you said that. That just made my day. That's
it's
so
like, just
awesome
don't do it if you're gonna...
It goes back to the other Hot or Not that we had, the hot take, that was about if they should do storytelling or just do licensing. It's like one or the other. Because... I mean, if you guys remember, what was that year that was about, I think it was 32 or whatever, where they had the podcaster and like she was talking, all of a sudden she was like being possessed. What happened to that? You know, they had such an awesome opportunity this is where I genuinely thought the lore. I'm sorry that we're going off the rails.
Or do us as HHN fans, do we look into those things too much? And they're like, oh, it's just supposed to be like a one-off. It's just like a creepy, fun little story.
I have the answer for you. The answer is yes. I do think I personally, this is my fault, folks. I think we take it a little too seriously. We make it our personality sometimes. And I think as a community, we should slow down. But, you know, it's the thing we're passionate for. Looking into it, though, I do think it's just like, oh, it's just for this year. It's just a fun story. I can see that, and I apologize if that's the case. But when they have taken it so seriously in past years, and they've had year after year connect and continue a story, and we get into these years, it's like that's what you kind of expect. That's
just start Oddfellow as like his own thing. Don't even have him connected to like Jack. Have him be his own thing.
But he's always been connected to Jack.
But that's what I mean is they should have started it like that.
Well, that was back in 2000. I don't think the team now or
you
the
mean
team
Oddfellow?
then. Yeah.
Oddfellow
Oddfellow's been around since 2000. Yeah. Well, because the story of Jack.
Or start a new icon that's like not related to them.
That was the theory of where we talked about them retconning a lot of stuff, and the route that they're going to go forward will not really include those things. They're going to kind of clear it up.
But that's what I'm saying is like when they started the Oddfellow storyline, maybe they should have just done like a new icon that's like completely unrelated.
Here, I want to say this real quick. One thing that, yeah, my thing is, it's like, what happened to the year that they had the podcaster get possessed, right? Like, what was going on with that? Remember the year where they had Otis? Remember, his name's not actually Otis, guys. The thing with the arches and stuff. The name's not actually Otis, but Otis. When I get heated up too, my heartburn increases tenfold.
So, how many hot takes do we have left?
At least more. So, just a couple more. Just give me 2 more minutes. But what happened with that Otis story and the arches? What happened with that whole
That's
other
not a thing?
Yeah, but that's not a thing. But what was that?
It was just a fun thing for that year.
Like, cool, but okay. I thought they had such a huge opportunity with HHN 30 and that commercial with Jack being underground. I generally thought, and here's the thing, again, this is my own thought and theories and opinions. Some of them are right, some of them wrong. That's what a theory is. Sometimes they end up being true, sometimes they don't. It's just for fun. That's all it is. But I genuinely thought that HHN 30, the celebration of Jack as a character, an icon at Halloween Horror Nights, was a universal thing. But then the video that we got of Jack being underground with all the TVs and watching what was going on above was actually the only thing that year that was congruent to the story and lore of Jack the Clown. That, to me, was he got out of the box, he made it to Universal, and he's hiding underground Universal, and he's monitoring everything going on because he knew what was coming, and that was 2 years later, it was Dr. Oddfellow. Dr. Oddfellow shows up at HHN and takes over HHN 32. Meanwhile, Jack is below, and he's watching everything, waiting for his moment, which led to this year, would have been this year, where he would make his strike against Oddfellow again to take that power back. Because Oddfellow showed up at Halloween Horror Nights knowing Jack was locked away back in 25. I thought that's where they were going to go because of that commercial. And I'm like, this is so cool. Jack is monitoring everything going on in Horror Nights the same way Fear monitors everything going on. He's trying to do that same thing. And the next time we saw Jack after 30 is here in 35 when he's clashing against Oddfellow. I genuinely thought that's where the lore was going to go, but it does not seem like that's technically the case. But anyways. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to hot takes. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing Halloween Horror Nights hot takes. Yeah, so people submitted their hot takes. We're going to play the game Halloween Horror Nights hot takes, hot or not, where we choose if your hot take is hot or not. Here is this hot take we haven't seen at all yet. The worst HHN icon is Oddfellow. Is this hot or not? You say
I would say it's a hot take.
Hot take. Ladies and gentlemen, hot take or not? Answer in the chat. What are we thinking? I know you already answered earlier. You get to answer it again. Hot take. Yeah, that's right. Everyone did say hot. Never mind. Hot, right? Ooh, we got it. Hot. Say we got it. Hot. What movie is that from, guys? First person in the chat wins a Christmas giveaway when Christmas comes around. And there's your hint. It's a Christmas movie. Polar Express, Silver Screen Sage, congratulations.
Good job.
You have won your own free review of the Polar
Brian's
Express coming
favorite
up.
Christmas movie, and my least favorite because I think
It's
creepy.
second famous. Second famous. Second most popular Christmas movie of mine.
favorite.
Yeah, second favorite.
I don't like
You
it.
know my first favorite.
It's creepy. The Grinch.
The Grinch. Love the Grinch. All right, let's get to this. The next hot take, number 12. So we have like 6 more to go. So HHN hot take number 12. It's okay with me if Twisted Taters never come back.
In their current state, not. If they made them better, hot.
Yes, Silver Screen Sage, I am telling you to review it. Not during Christmas, on Halloween. Anyways, Joey said, bro. Fungi Gamer said, blazing hot.
I don't think they're very good.
JC Smith said, by the way, damn, I forgot how good that Jack commercial was. Yeah. I'm on Steph's side with this. We've never really been Twisted Tater fans. Now, I'm not saying they're bad. We never really got them. There was always an argument as Twisted Taters or pizza fries. We always picked pizza fries. That was the side we were on. But every time we get Twisted Taters, they're just kind of like overly expensive chips on a stick.
Yeah. If they were like thick, like
wedges.
They were like a potato, almost like a French fry.
Like a wedge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like you could still have it spiral on the stick and everything, but they were thick. They would be so much better. But they're just like, it's like a potato chip that's like sometimes overly cooked where it just gets like hard and rubbery.
Caleb Portman said it perfectly. He said, not. They are never cooked right. Always like rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've had 2 Twisted Taters ever in my life. And each time I was just like, it's kind of overpriced. And it's not the best.
Yeah. I think there's better things at the event. I would be okay with them not coming back because we never get them.
See, here's the thing. This is where I play devil's advocate. Even though I don't care for them, I know a lot of people love Twisted Taters, and it's not something that like affects the event as much for people who don't care about it, but it affects the event for people who do.
Yes, but the question is, it would be okay with me if Twisted Taters never came back. It would be okay with me. So not.
And that's all that matters, folks. Steph has spoken. All right, so is this hot or is it not? It's not. It's okay with me if Twisted Taters never come back. Sad, though. Makes me really sad. Yeah, I see a lot of people say not. Some say indifferent. But there are some passionate fans out there, especially Fungi Gamers, saying blazing hot.
Too much of the other HHN food has just gotten too good to where they're like,
Yeah, I don't know. Even Shanna said, I love Twisted Taters. But I don't know. I just never had a good one.
Yeah, me neither.
We'll say that. So the argument again that I presented earlier, it was always Twisted Taters or pizza fries. And this was like during the HHN 20s, right? It was always kind of between those in conversations with like me and my friends and all that. And I was always pizza fries side.
Yeah.
And then Steph, same way. So it's okay with me if Twisted Taters never come back. This is not a hot take. All right, moving on to HHN hot take number 13. HHN has become too mainstream and popular. Is this a hot take or not?
I don't think it, like, mainstream, yes. Like, we have Fortnite this year, FNAF last year.
Fortnite.
So I think it has become a little too, well, it's so weird because, like, Five Nights was not really that mainstream.
I think Blumhouse with the movie changed that direction.
Before the movie and everything. But I do think it's become a little mainstream. But like, I don't know.
So I will say this. Has HHN become too popular? That statement, I will say that is a hot take. I think it's great that HHN has become popular. I think the issue is, has HHN become too mainstream? I think that's where the difference is. I've said this a couple times during tonight's live stream. I think Halloween Horror Nights has gone more in control by corporate than it has the creatives. And because of that, the corporate has been pushing like, and again, I could be wrong. I don't know how this works. I'm not a creative at Horror Nights, and I probably will never, ever be. But the way I look at it is that they're focusing too much on numbers and the mainstream stuff, getting that pop culture mainstream stuff into the event, which has been changing the demographic of the event, where I believe that, again, Halloween Horror Nights, in my opinion, has become at the point where it is so well known and it's so popular, they don't need IPs. They can do originals and it will still succeed. But I think they're trying to be too mainstream every single year without really realizing that, hey, you guys are already mainstream the way you are. You can do originals and people are still going to go. People are still going to buy your tickets. People are going to buy your merch. We still advocate every year that we should get more original HHN merch for like the houses and the scare zones that are originals than the IPs. We've advocated for that for years. So like personally, I do think that it has become mainstream. I think that is not a hot take, but has HHN become too popular, I think is a hot take.
Sure.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
So not.
What are we thinking? Not? I see not.
Yeah, I see some nots.
Another microwave burrito take. All right, we're going to go with this being a not hot take. But then again, has become too mainstream. This is a not take. The popular is a hot take, in my opinion. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 more hot takes we're going to be going over. If you guys are enjoying tonight's live, please give it a like. Let us know if you guys are enjoying it by leaving a like. I've been looking forward to this one. It's been a lot of fun. And again, to all of you guys who participated in this live by submitting a hot take, we appreciate you guys. Whether we get to your hot take or not, maybe in the future we'll do another one. Yeah, at this point I'm stalling because I think I know what this one is, but I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Are you stalling?
I don't know. Let's see. HHN hot take number 14 of the night. Stranger Things feels like it's overshadowing the anniversary year. Okay, this is not the one I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. Is this a hot take or not? Answer at the same time in 3, 2, 1. Hot.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. It's so hard because I don't see people really talking about it, about Stranger Things. So I don't know if it necessarily is overshadowing the year because I don't think anybody really cares that much.
We talked about this earlier. The conversation, I feel like, where it could be presented as like a hot take, mainly, or not a hot take, is in the conversation of the Lagoon show.
Yeah, that could be a little bit overshadowing because, like, the Lagoon show could have been
more themed on
like
the Carnival of Nightmares.
Yeah, an HHN theme.
Yeah.
And then
Even
they could have
Nightmare
made
Fuel.
the Stranger Things house like the Return to Hawkins all 5 seasons instead of both. But
and what's funny to me is, like, we've talked about this when Nightmare Fuel came out. It's blood noir. Like, cool, down for it. But, like, the past 2 years of Nightmare Fuel, we've had a circus theme. And then here we are, HHN 35. It's the main theme is Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. It's the circus. And Nightmare Fuel's not circus. Again, it's like, are we going to get an actual show that's related to the season? We're not.
yeah.
You know? So I could see where the argument's made where, like, they chose Stranger Things as a farewell to Stranger Things as the Lagoon show for the anniversary year versus having a Jack and Oddfellow Lagoon show for the Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. It's interesting. That I could see it overshadowing. But again, I do think the Stranger Things Lagoon show is going to be really good.
Yeah. I would say hot take only because I don't think the conversation is around Stranger Things at all because I don't think too many people care that much. So I think there are other things that are overshadowing the anniversary a little bit more.
I agree. I think that's the case. Yeah. I think when Stranger Things was announced, I think it was overshadowing it because people are like, oh, it's like The Walking Dead. But then Fortnite came around and I forgot Stranger Things was at the event.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of controversial stuff this year. I'll say that. So Stranger Things feels like it's overshadowing the anniversary year. We say hot. What do you guys say? in the chat. We got hot, hot, not hot. Exactly, Steph. That's all that matters. So I'm seeing more hot than not.
Cool.
Yeah. I also think it's to the point where a lot of people are ready for Stranger Things to be over, sadly. But I think it's the truth that they're just kind of brushing it aside. They're just getting ready to get rid of it.
Agreed.
So, all right. So now we are moving on to HHN Hot Takes number 15 of the evening. That is Club Horror feels like a waste of a scare zone opportunity.
I mean, it is.
Bingo.
It is a waste of a scare zone opportunity. It was a scare zone, and then they got rid of it for like a music bar area.
Yep.
Is that a good or a bad thing? That's the question. But we could have a scare zone there.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you guys if this is hot or not at the end of the conversation for this one, because I don't know where it starts or stops. And I this is so important to me. I need to know what you guys think on this one specifically. So this is a great time for you for a bathroom break. So listen to this. Club Horror feels like a waste of a scare zone opportunity. Just like Steph said, we used to have a scare zone there. And we have talked since HHN 30 what was happening year after year. It's like the prices have gone up, which the demand's there. They can do that. But the offerings were being diminished year by year. We were losing some things more than we were gaining. And so there was a negative in opportunity, or offerings, I should say. When Club Horror was announced, we lost a scare zone. We didn't just gain something. It just replaced what we already had. I know there are fans out there who love Club Horror. I think Club Horror is fun. I just don't think it should have replaced a scare zone in San Francisco. I've seen a lot of times people online have argued too, saying, oh, well, the scare zone in San Francisco was such a bottleneck. Club Horror is the same thing. The problem with San Francisco, and the same thing happens with Central Park, it's such a bottleneck already. No matter what you do there, it's the event's so popular, it's just going to be a bottleneck all the time. Since they don't use the kids zone area where the DreamWorks area is, that open area right in front of ET where the bathrooms are, animal actors, that open area, why don't they put Club Horror over there where it's kind of to its own corner, where you can have the DJ, you can put a food booth over there, bar, drinks and all that stuff, have lounge chairs for people to hang out, and it's off to the side for people to go and enjoy the music and be off to the side without being an actual path that everybody has to walk through. That used to be a scare zone that people got to experience. That's the only reason why I don't like Club Horror. I'm not against the idea of Club Horror. I just don't think it should have replaced a scare zone where we got to actually experience a full scare zone. Sometimes in Club Horror, when we're walking through, there's a group of people standing there to dance or take video and photos and stuff, just like you would have in a scare zone. And we can't move. Like, it's just, we've been stuck there sometimes. I just don't think that Club Horror is in the right spot. It should be over there by the DreamWorks area, by the bathrooms over there. They should do some lounge chairs and all that, and have the old pizza like location where they do pizza fries, open that up for a bar and all that kind of stuff, whatever. I think that's where it belongs. And the reason too that I'm not a fan of Club Horror in this aspect is because we already have the Dead Coconut Club. We already have something that's really themed like that. That's in City Walk to bring people to City Walk to pregame in a way of going to HHN later in the night. So I feel like it was a choice because they could sell more alcohol. So they took the scare zone away to put Club Horror there. So I personally say this is not a hot take because I do think it is a waste because it was a scare zone before.
Yeah, I think not, because like they could have a scare zone there, but I personally don't hate Club Horror. Do we hang out in it? No, not really. No. But I think like the music is fun. At least it's not dead there. We've had scare zones there where it just feels kind of like dead, or
depending on the time,
or it just feels like a photo op area.
I don't know if you heard what I was saying though, but I was saying, like, I'm not fully against the idea of Club Horror. I just don't like that they replaced the scare zone. I think it should be by the DreamWorks area so that it could be its own thing off to the side. So they have loungers, people can hang out, people go dance and hear the music, and they're not in the way of just guests walking by. Yeah. Because I feel like even in the current Club Horror situation, people don't have the freedom to just stand there and dance and enjoy the music because they're in the path of all these people walking by.
I kind of liked when they had that as a chainsaw horde area. I think they did that in 2018. was a chainsaw horde. Pretty sure. Because I remember walking out of Blumhouse and going home and going that way.
I don't remember 2018 over there. So maybe.
I think it was.
Maybe right. So I want to read some of the comments that you guys wrote about it. By the way, now you guys can type if this is a hot take or not. I genuinely think it is not a hot take. I think this is very true. I stand by it. But I'm going to read some of y'all's comments while you're typing in the chat. Justin said, it's not a scare zone, but let's be for real. What was things like Crypt TV and the doc for Oddfellow and others actually doing there? It's been forever since a decent scare zone there. It's true. But again, it was still a scare zone. Dre, well, Blumhouse wasn't great. True. I do think San Francisco has leaned more towards that just photo op area. Like it feels like even the past few scare zones they've done, that's just what it is. But I think because they have been trying to do that, it has justified people's argument of like, yeah, we could just do club horror because it's just been a photo op anyways.
I think
but go back to traditional scare zones.
I think because it gets such a bottleneck, they don't want to put too many scare actors on the ground, so they put them on those stages. But then that just turns into a photo op.
Yep. Caleb Portman said not, but they should have combined club horror and Fortnite and put another zone in Central Park. Jen K said, yeah, but the scare zones before those things were great. Yes, the scare zones before 30 there were great and have been missing ever since. Yep, I agree. Mr. Disney King said, I'm a big fan of music DJ festivals, and I think Club Horror is offering a new needed alternate for any fan of the event. It dips its toe in horror, but it works for me. I like it. I just don't like its location. Let's see. Dr. Dre said, Dead Coconut before everyone found out about it was peak. Yeah. I get that. All right, so is it hot? Is it not? I am seeing more knots than I'm seeing hots.
Agreed.
Yeah, Jen K said Dead Coconut used to be dead, and I loved it like that. LOL. Yeah, again.
It's like everything nowadays.
Yeah, something happens. It's not known right off the rip, so it's more enjoyable, and you feel like it's more just yours.
And then one person posts
It
about it,
blows
goes
up,
viral,
yeah.
and then it's too busy.
Yeah. Lukewarm take. See, here's my thing. Again, it's like I would argue that Dead or the Club Horror should be in a different location, not already taking a pre-existing scare zone. And now you could say you have 5 scare zones and you have Club Horror versus you can only say 4 scare zones of Club Horror. You lost something. Like we can just get it back. So. Shanna says hot. Not a fan of Club Horror. Okay, you mean not. Not a hot take. All right, so going from the 15th to the 16th HHN hot take of the night. We have 2 more hot takes, ladies and gentlemen, of the night, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Number 16, HHN Orlando has become too theatrical. Stephanie, is this hot take or not take? Or not a hot take?
A not take.
A not take.
Not.
Not a hot.
Not a hot take.
It's not hot. Why?
It needs to get back to their roots. It needs to get back to the grittiness of like old HHN. It's become a little too theatrical, in my opinion.
I'm going to mute myself for 20 seconds and let you have the floor.
No,
Give us 20 seconds of purely how you feel.
Don't do that. I will say that the first time I kind of noticed this was like, like, I don't know if I like this direction. Was, doesn't make sense take. Oh, okay. The first time I kind of like thought about this was Dead Man's Pier. What was it called? Winter's Wake. It's beautiful, or it was a beautiful house. I thought it was great, but when I got done with the house, I was like, that didn't really feel like a haunted house. It felt like a walkthrough of like a movie set or something, which is great, but I think they have been focusing on that a lot. And when we went to Hollywood, I was like, they obviously don't really focus on that as much, and I think you get better scares. I personally like the scares over the
I think some
theatrics.
people were confused with what this is, but then Dre said, okay, I see Steph's perspective. It really wakes you up Like, we've been going to Orlando for years, and we went to Hollywood once. And again, comparing Orlando and Hollywood, they're two completely separate things. But seeing Hollywood's take, and also going to local haunts and seeing how local haunts do things, I don't think there's anything wrong with Horror Nights doing these big scaled stuff, but I do think the focus has become a little too much on that versus just the scare.
Again, another example of this, and this is one that like people generally didn't like. So I think it kind of lends more to this take, is Sinister and Surreal. I feel like that was a very like theatrical like way to do these two characters. They were very theatrical, and like their zones were very like a lot of detail in like the costumes and things like that, which is great. But were they scary, or did they really add anything to the event? Like, personally, I didn't think so.
Yeah, it's funny because I do love how big these houses have been going. I do love, some of the directions that have been going. I think there's a way to make them both work, but I think the focus has been too much on a theatrical aspect where the scares have been lacking in focus and attention. And I'll watch every now and then, like at least once a year, I'll watch the Halloween Horror Nights Art of the Scare show episode, whatever. We have the CDs and stuff. I'll watch that on YouTube like once a year, and looking back at how they're explaining what the house is, the story and all that, it seems like it's very about the scares. It's how we're going to scare you, the types of scares we're going to do. How can we manipulate the way a guest is walking through this to make it think it's one way, but we're actually coming you in different ways and all this stuff. I don't know if the focus is on that as much this time around compared to past years, where I agree with you that I think it is becoming too theatrical. Because again, one of the biggest arguments that I feel like I've had too in the past was sometimes simple, like less is more, like simple is more, especially in haunt environments. Sometimes the very traditional, simple things like darkness, just like dark thing, like being in a dark room, not knowing what's going on, is sometimes scarier than, like you said, Dead Man's Pier was beautiful. I loved it, but I agree with you, having this big grand stuff, it didn't really feel like I was threatened. Where we went into Insidious, and one of the biggest things I loved about Insidious was that a lot of it felt dirty, it felt dark, there wasn't much detail, which maybe it might have felt a little uncomfortable, and it made me feel uneasy at times. And the great thing that Insidious does is their soundtrack, of how simple it is, but it's just that uneasy violin sound and all that stuff that they add that just puts you, it's like normal shifted. Blake Braswell explains this incredibly in 2018. It's a Tim Tracker video where Tim became a scare actor in Vamp 85. Blake Braswell in that video, he explains how he's like, what's off-putting to people, what's scary to people is normal shifted, where it's just slightly shifted, where it's like, I'm looking at you and it's like, something's off. Something's off. Is he high? But where you're looking at somebody and it's like something's like, it feels familiar, but there's something off. That's like the red flags are going off, but you can't pinpoint to what. That freaks people out a lot. And it's like having those simplistic features into like houses and stuff, I think works better than the big extravagance.
I also think part of the reason why they're moving more towards that style is partially because of like offending people. I think the way they used to do things, lots of gore, like lots of like
in your face.
Yeah, just I don't know. It just felt like
unsettling,
grittier.
Yeah,
they feel like they have been moving a little bit away towards some of that stuff. Like, of course, some of the houses will have like one like gory house for the year, but even then, like, I don't know. I just feel like they've been moving away from that a little bit, and I think part of that is not wanting to offend.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
Terrifier is definitely a different story because, I mean, they brought Terrifier, so
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, last year there was a pooper. Yeah, it just...
Which is good. Honestly, like, as much as we are not the biggest fans of, like, the Terrifier movies, I think that was a good direction for Horror Nights.
Yeah, I think Terrifier sucks, in my opinion. Like, movies and stuff, I'm not a fan of it at all. But Terrifier and Art the Clown is a perfect fit for Halloween Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that I have not seen Hellraiser, not yet, but I do think Hellraiser is a perfect fit for Halloween Horror Nights. And it's one of those things, I'm just going to bring it up again. Fort Nightmares, I think, is going to do great, but I don't think is a perfect fit for something like Halloween Horror Nights. I think it's that same thing where, to me, Fort Nightmares feels like this theatrical thing versus where, like, Hellraiser and Terrifier, it's just dark, straight to the point, gritty, gory horror. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, HHN Orlando has become too theatrical. Is this a hot take or is this not a hot take? Let us know in the chat. Steph, what are you thinking? Hot take or not take?
Where do you think you're going?
He's trying to let everybody know. I think I heard.
Hot or not?
Ugh. Nico, you can't do that on the stream. You can't do that. We're going to get banned. Put some clothes on. All right, what do we got? I see not. Oh, Dre says not, changing my take. I think you might have convinced some people.
I will also let you guys in on a secret that this was one that I submitted to Brian's.
I got a secret.
This is what I submitted to Brian's
this is Steph's take, everybody.
Instagram post. So
everybody better say not. For the sake of pregnant
I
Robinson
don't care.
over here.
You can say whatever you want.
No, please.
But I'm glad I got to make my case.
Yeah, this was Steph's. We had to include it. At least one of them. The other one had a lot of cursing and everything in it. We cannot include that one from Steph. So,
What can I say?
Chris, those things says rigged. Be careful. Talking to a pregnant lady over here. Yeah, I also agree with Steph. I think this is not a hot take. I agree. It has become too theatrical. Especially when we go to Hollywood and we experience a scare zone like toys.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's like
you know?
they obviously were just focused on, like, how can we make this as scary as possible? Not, what's the story behind this? They're like, we don't care what the story is.
Bro, they let stilt walkers run after you in the streets of Hollywood and chase you into a store.
It's a bunch of toys. They're scary.
Yeah.
And there's a creepy toy maker.
Yep.
That's the story.
Orlando's like, you have to stay in this scare zone. You have to stay in this section. This is just your section. You can't chase anybody. It's boo, skidoo. All right. Moving on. Wait, hold up. Mr. Disney King said, wait, did she hate that house a few years back? The one with puppets and burning theater?
Puppet theater?
No, Steph loved puppet
I did
theater.
like puppet theater.
Even though technically it was about theater.
That's a way different. I didn't say too much of it has become about the theater.
Yeah. All right. The final HHN hot take of our HHN Hot Takes Hot or Not game. We are moving on to number 17, and it is HHN 35 is the weakest anniversary by far. Ladies and gentlemen, is this a hot take or is this not a hot take?
I'll say a hot take only because we don't know yet. We have to see the year first. But I have only experienced one other anniversary year, and it was right after COVID and things were kind of weird. So I don't really know what to compare it to, I guess.
Yes, Ace, we're still here, man. 2.5 hours in. We waited just for you. Mr. Disney King said this year is delivering before the event has even started. You know, it's so weird because, like, I feel like this event is not delivering. It's just so weird. I do think that HHN 35 is the weakest anniversary by far. I do think that is hot. I don't know, because again, just like Steph said, we have not experienced HHN 35. So the only thing I can go off of is what's kind of being built up for this year. And that's the only argument HHN 35 has for itself.
But our build up for 30 was not very good.
Well, we had COVID.
Exactly. So, like, the only things we can compare it to is that.
But then in 2021, we got that Jack commercial early on, Haunting of Hill House commercial. The biggest problem we had was was just that one day they dropped the.
This was not the one Brian submitted. Brian didn't submit any.
No, I didn't submit any. But then I think the biggest negative that we got with HHN 30's lead up was the originals. They were all announced just a picture in one day, like a little slide or whatever. That was the only negative, because didn't we also get the
scare zones? And we were like, oh, Pumpkin Lord's randomly in a scare zone.
No, that's Wicked Growth.
Oh,
Year.
that was 32.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
31.
31. I can't.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
I keep thinking that's 31 because of COVID.
COVID, yes. I know the years, yeah, they're tricky. 30, I think, was that not the first year that we got the experience in Cabana Bay? Cabana Bay experience? Was that HHN 30?
I have no idea.
So, like, we had that announced, so that was something completely new. You know, we had icons coming. We had all these things. We also, didn't we have live streams by Universal, premiere videos, where they dropped static videos, and we would sit there and watch, and sometimes things would pop up on the screen, and there was like deciphering things. A lot of fans would comment, what's going on, what's this? And then video would end, and then weeks later they would do another one of those, and then a Jack video came in. They had build up. This year, to me, doesn't have the build up, except for the IP announcements being the only thing that is build up to this year story wise, but they don't even play into this.
Justin's correct. That was not the first year they had Cabana Bay, because that was for Stranger Things.
Oh, that's right. Stranger Things 2019. But we had it in HHN 30. So I feel like there was things leading up to 30 that we were excited for, and they were building and they were doing these videos that we did not get for this year. And Multi-Night Passes still had Express Pass.
Again, I will always say, like, the lead up to the event has no bearing on if the event itself is good or not, to me. So I can't say. I would say this is hot only because, like, I wouldn't be able to claim that until I experience.
I agree. I think we have to experience this year to really know. But again, I just look at the only thing that this year has is the buildup that it's got. That's the only way. And it's going against years that we have experienced and things that we know. HHN 30, regardless of the plexiglass, I thought was an incredible year.
Yeah.
I liked the scare zones, but I loved the houses. You go back to HHN 25, we didn't get to do it, but it's critically claimed to be one of the best Horror Nights years that's ever happened. HHN 25. You go before that, HHN 20 was the year Fear was introduced, and the Heralds of Fear, Jack and the rest. Like, if we just look back at those past three compared to this year, now granted, was Halloween Horror Nights 5 better than?
I was gonna say 5
sure,
is technically,
yeah, that's an anniversary year. We can argue that.
Even 2 is technically the first anniversary of the first year.
Yeah, technically. I mean, 32 is technically the 32nd anniversary since the first.
Every year is an anniversary, yeah.
But I don't know. This one, I'm going to say it's a hot take. I'll agree it's a hot take for the fact of we have not experienced this event. I don't think the buildup is strong, but I think there are some good foundational roots there to hold on to and see. If I just look at it and I just see what the houses are, the scare zones are, don't think of the lore at all, what is being offered, I am excited for Downtown Clowntown. I am excited for Sideshow of Decay. I'm excited for those 2 scare zones. I am, believe it or not, excited for Nightmare Fuel, Blood Fuel. I don't know if I'm getting that right.
Noir?
Whatever. I'm going to call it Blood Fuel. I'm excited for Blood Fuel. Just because it's different. I'm looking forward to some of the originals that we have for the event. And there are 2 IPs that I'm actually excited for that. I want to see it. I want to experience them.
Are you saving those for
Yes.
Tuesday?
I don't want to say. I'm saving it for Tuesday because yes. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, HHN 35 is the weakest anniversary year. Hot or not? We're going to go with hot. That is a hot take just for the fact of we have nothing to go off of yet. So with that being said, that is our Halloween Horror Nights hot takes, hot or not game. We had 17 hot takes to go over. and it took way longer than I thought it would take. But
Why are you surprised?
no, I say that every live stream. So no,
You're
I
always
knew
like,
that.
oh, this is going to take like 30 minutes to get through. And I'm like, it takes you 30 minutes to get through one topic.
Please spare me. Sanctuary.
It's fine.
Sorry, I love Horror Nights.
We know.
I love to talk.
We know that too.
I'm home alone by myself with the dogs. They can't even speak English. They don't talk, so.
They speak Spanish.
Oye, ¿cómo está, mi amigo?
No,
No, they speak German, actually. So, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our Hot Takes episode tonight. And just like we were saying, we are saving those houses and scare zones that we're looking forward to for next week, Tuesday. I don't know what date that is, but next week, Tuesday, will be our next live stream because we are going to be hosting our most anticipated list. So we're going to be talking of our top houses, top scare zones. And there's only 2 shows, so we'll be talking about those 2. Hondo, where are you? Oh, there you are. Wake up. Come on. Time for you to make your appearance. My goodness. Go the other way. It's easier. Okay.
There you
My
go.
goodness. You were knocked out, weren't you?
Say hello.
His head popped up. He's like,
Good
huh?
night. Oh.
What? Hey, Nico, get down. You can't do this on the live, dude. that is so wrong of you. Get down. Get your butt down. You defiant little creature. You crazy head. So anyway, so next week, Tuesday, we will be hosting our next live stream talking about the most anticipated lists from both Steph and I. And then next week, Friday, a week from now, we will be doing our Halloween Horror Nights sports draft. Looking forward to that one. Steph and I will be going head to head to see who can create the best overall Halloween Horror Nights event from houses, scare zones, shows, foods, icons, merch, tribute stores, all of it. We're going to have it in that live stream next Friday. So make sure you guys mark your calendar down because you guys will be voting who will win that takeover. Anyways, so thank you guys again for joining us tonight's live. Thank you guys so much for just following us this season. I know we haven't made any videos. We've just been doing live streams, but I promise you guys we have something very special that we are working on behind the scenes for you guys for this year and in hopes that this can continue for next season because as of right now, it looks like we will actually be doing YouTube next year. Potentially, I don't know. We have a baby on the way, so I don't know what to expect, our lives.
We'll see.
We'll see if Universal raids our house again. Maybe not. We don't know.
Again.
So
Allegedly.
allegedly in the game, of course. So, but before we
Say
go,
goodnight.
Dr. Dre.
Speak.
Nico, you can't do that in the stream, buddy. Just speak. Speak. There you go. What's your
Good
most
boy.
anticipated house, Nico? Speak. Yes, I agree.
That was a good one.
Oh, no. Oh, you stinkies. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, no. Fuck you. Get out of here. Anyways,
right, all right.
Dre with the 199 said, thanks, guys. This was fun. Thank you. We had a blast. Thanks, by the way, for the 199. And thank you guys again, all of you guys, for joining us. We look forward to next Tuesday's live stream. He's got a bomb. It's a dynamite. Get this out of here.
I hope YouTube doesn't censor that.
I don't care. This is a horror channel. Like, come on.
All right.
All right, folks. I'm just trying to stall 15 more seconds so we can get to 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh,
of
goodness.
live. But with that being said, that's going to do it for us in tonight's live stream. And until the next one, we look forward to catching you guys there next Tuesday. And until then, we'll catch you guys in the fog. Good night, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.
Say good night, Hondo.
Good night, Hondo.
Everyone say good night, Hondo. Say it. Say it. Come here. Say it. Tell them the truth. Tell them that you speak English here in front of us. You're an undercover spy.
He's not going to tell everybody.
Are you harboring an enemy of the state? Get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the next 15 minutes, you guys are actually going to just watch Hondo and Nico. It's just a dog live stream. All right, folks.